Get nasty on a Thursday. It's the Fast Lane on 101 ESPN. Andrew Marsh, Kerry Davis, Jamie Rivers. We start off with your St. Louis Blues 5-2 winners last night over the Chicago Blackhawks at Empire Center.
So back.
Marsh said he went to the game.
Yeah.
He missed the first 4 goals because they all occurred the first 7 seconds of the game. So that was a tough break for Marshy.
Yeah, I walked in, heard the horn go off. I was like, hey, we're up 1-0. And then I got to my seat. We were up 4-0.
You got to get there early. Yeah, you're on time.
Sorry, Carey. I was busy
yeah, you had to
working yesterday. I don't get to leave at 4 o'clock like somebody.
Yeah, well, you're right, because I was working too. Towel man, he was exhausted. Oh, he's worn down.
He got Tommy John.
Running down, running up, running down, running up. Get lactic acid after the game. It's terrible.
Jordan work I've done in the first period all season.
Jordan Kyrou scores 2 minutes and 4 seconds into the first period. Jordan Kyrou scores 2 minutes 46 seconds into the first period. Torrey Krug scores 4 minutes 37 seconds into the first period. And Zach Bolduc, who I had as the first goal of the game. He scored to make it 4-0, 6 minutes and 59 seconds into the game. And they absolutely cruised. Robert Thomas scored a goal in the third period, but they beat the Blackhawks 5-2. And one of the questions that some Blues fans are asking is, well, was last night perhaps a small preview of what the Blues could look like in 24-25? It's an impossible question to answer because you don't know what offseason moves are forthcoming, Jamie. But maybe from a young player standpoint, what did you see and how does that forecast to next year?
Well, the young guys have really been playing well here. When the Blues made that pivot before the San Jose game to just kind of go with some of the youth movement, Matthew Kessel, Perunovich on the back end, Tyler Tucker. Then you insert Zach Dean, Alexandrov, Bolduc. Like, you have quite an influx of youth in your lineup right now. I'll say a couple things very openly and honestly. I think Matthew Kessel has absolutely solidified himself, not just in the Blues lineup, but he's going to be a significant piece. Matthew Kessel is going to make somebody expendable. Who that is, I don't know, because there are a lot of no-trade clauses, a lot of things. But Matthew Kessel has played well enough to where you're looking at going, okay, we threw this guy into the fire. He plays every night against the other team's top players, and he's had a really good run. So what does it look like when he's actually in that spot, when he's got 30, 40 games under his belt from this year moving into next season? Looks pretty good. Scott Perunovich, I still think he's trying to find his way. Even though he's paired with Colton Parayko, who might be one of the best defensemen in the NHL this year, he still has some struggles out there. So, that's to be determined. Certainly, Zach Dean looks pretty good his last couple of games. Nicky Alexandrov has looked pretty good. Like, where was that guy early in the season? I think maybe that's why the Blues were frustrated with him, and maybe why he got healthy scratch so much is because he has the ability to play like he has the last couple of games, which is, skating, competing, winning puck battles, being efficient with the puck. But he wasn't doing that.
Yep.
So he's come onto the scene. And then Zach Bolduc, now playing with Robert Thomas, like, you're seeing some things, man. Like, he's made some really good plays. Yesterday, Zach Bolduc, obviously he scores the goal, so he's a big part of that one. And without him, you don't score the goal. But on Robert Thomas's goal, Zach Bolduc slash supports behind the defenseman, which is exactly what you're supposed to do. Robert Thomas chips it up the wall to Zach Bolduc, who then takes the puck, drops it back to Robert Thomas, who fires it over to Braden Shen. Shot on net, Thomas gets the rebound. But that's a really smart offensive play by Zach Bolduc, using his speed and then smart enough to get the puck back to Robert Thomas. You're starting to see some things as to what would make you think, okay, this guy's a top 6 forward at some point. Like, when, I don't know. Is it next year? Hopefully your team is deep enough to where he's a third liner. But if it's not, then you give him a chance. But the youth movement has really given some energy to this squad.
You seem excited. I haven't really seen this level of excitement from you. I don't know, all season. It's kind of been up and down. But you seem, from what you saw last night, obviously getting out to an early start and scoring 4 goals helps. But with the younger guys, so you talked about Matthew Kessel potentially solidifying his role. What if you are unable to trade or move some of those no-trade clause contracts?
Yeah.
What is the next step after that?
Well, he's still on my team.
Okay.
My third pairing probably looks like Tucker and Kessel then. If you can't move any of your top 4 guys that you
don't
have,
think he would be able to move up, even though some of those guys are still there?
He might. but then he'd have to play ahead of Justin Falk or Colton Parayko.
Right.
And a healthy Justin Falk and certainly a healthy Colton Parayko are probably still better players than Matthew Kessel. Let's just go back to last year. Justin Falk healthy all year. The team had a bad year, but Justin Falk was pretty solid for you. So he would be the only one that I would say, for lack of better words, at risk, because he's certainly not going to play instead of Colton Parayko. I mean, that's just obvious to everybody who watches these games. But no, I'm excited because a couple things. One, the Blues are still on the outside looking in. They're 3 points out of a playoff spot, and it's going to be very difficult to sneak in. The Vegas Golden Knights pulled up their schedule, and I think their magic number is 3, which means they have to accumulate 3 points at some point. They play the Wild, which that could be a tough game. The way they're playing, that could be a tough one. They play the Colorado Avalanche. That's a really tough game. But then they play the Blackhawks and the Ducks to finish the season. So, to me, you're excited because you're within striking distance, but the realization is that it's going to be a tough go either way. But the reason I am excited is because we're still technically playing meaningful games with 3 games left in the season. And that's exciting. If you fall short by 1 point or 2 points, you miss the playoffs, that stinks. It stinks. But at least your fan base was able to cheer for the team right to the last game of the season. And to me, that's important. I don't know why, but especially here in St. Louis, I want our fans to be able to cheer for meaningful games until the last game of the season.
Right. Plus, as you've mentioned, they do have young pieces. It's not like this is an aging roster that they need to clear out the salaries and make room for maybe some young guys down the road. You're seeing a combination of young players and veteran guys are going to be here. Now, whether or not, to Carey's point or his question, whether or not you can move on from some of these contracts in the offseason, Doug Armstrong is the only one that knows what those odds look like. But again, from a fan perspective, it is fun to see guys like Jake Neighbors, now hurt, but throughout the season, produce. Zach Bolduc is now producing. You got Jordan Binnington. You've got some young pieces that you've got a nice building block moving forward.
Yeah, you do. And you've got even more in the pipeline. You've got Lindstein in Sweden, that defenseman who's going to be a stud. You've got Dvorsky playing in Sudbury, which, by the way, the Sudbury Wolves won the first round onto the second round.
There you go.
Yeah, baby. He's playing like a rock star. And you got Jimmy Snuggerud, who is a really good college player. To be determined, where these guys ultimately end up. But that's 3 more young players to add to this team. Yeah, there are some things to be excited about. And I think that now, in this offseason and next offseason are going to be very, very huge for Doug Armstrong. Because he can right the ship in the next 2 off seasons with the combination of this young talent and have this Blues team back in the mix. And I think that's what's important. I think that would be an amazing accomplishment.
Jamie Rivers, Kerry Davis, Anthony Stelter, it's the Fast Line on 101 ESPN. Don't forget, you can catch Opening Drive tomorrow morning live from 7 a.m. to 10 a.m. for the grand opening of the new Rawlings Experience. That's going to be at Westport Plaza. Rawlings is opening the Rawlings Experience right here in St. Louis, and visitors can experience the past, present, and future for everything baseball and softball. The Opening Drive live tomorrow morning for the grand opening of the Rawlings Experience in Westport Plaza. You can find all the details for that event tomorrow now at 101ESPN.com. Lars Nootbaar activated. Victor Scott thus far staying with the Cardinals. What does this mean for
Why do you want to get rid of him?
Victor Scott in the lineup? That's next on 101 ESPN.
April is here, and with springtime weather, it's important to have quality windows. If yours won't open to let in the fresh air, or won't seal tight or keep out the pollen and big bugs, or they have been leaking water all winter, then it's time to talk to the experts at Window Nation. Right now, for every 2 windows you buy, you'll get 2 windows free. There's no limit to how much you can save. You could also save even more with no interest and no payments for 24 months. Window Nation windows come with a lifetime warranty and can be installed in 1 day or less. With proven quality and service, when you buy from Window Nation, you can rest assured you'll be getting affordable windows that meet or beat the ones from the national brand names. Don't miss out on your chance to afford quality windows with an unlimited buy 2, get 2 free plus 0 interest or payments for 24 months. You cannot afford to wait. And if you purchase a house of windows, you can get a pair of St. Louis Cardinals tickets. It's easy. Just call 866-90NATION or go online to visit them at windownation.com to schedule your in-home free estimate and let them know Carey sent you.
It's the Fast Lane on 101 ESPN. Before we get into some Cardinals-related moves, including Lars Nootbaar being activated and Pedro Pajis being sent back down to the minor leagues, Jamie, you wanted to address a text.
Yeah, I did, and I don't know if they're trying to be mean or angry to us, but from the 314 says, if the Cardinals fell short by a game or two, the narrative would be failure. The Blues do it, and they get a pass. So let's go back. When the Cardinals did miss the playoffs by a couple of games, I don't think anybody said they're losers. In fact, the whole time, I tell you what the narrative has been around here for the last 5 years that I've been around, is the Cardinals have always played meaningful baseball down the stretch. There's only one time where they were more than this. Last year was a disaster. So you can't count that. The Blues season was not great last year. I don't say disaster, but it wasn't good. So if you have a team that does that and then gets, within 2 points of the playoffs or within a game or two of making the postseason, I don't consider that a failure. Unless your roster, like this year, if the Cardinals, with the roster that they have, fall short, I consider that a failure. Mm-hmm. The Blues, with the roster they have, and with the youth, and with the... not that it's a success, but I don't consider it a failure if they miss the playoffs by 2 or 3 points. Am I way off here?
No. You also have to factor in, it's not an apples-to-apples comparison. I mean, you look at the competition in the Western Conference compared to the competition within the NL Central. It's different. Plus, they're two different sports. I mean, and the history of the two teams is significantly different. The expectations that were set forth by the Cardinals, it's a good thing, by the way. It's a good thing that the Cardinals have the that set the expectation. Every fan expects them to be a competitor. You know, the Blues they've had really good years. They've had down years. They win a cup first time in 2019. Expectations obviously rise. We've had tough conversations. We've talked about Doug Armstrong's missteps, especially with Alex Pietrangelo and the domino effect that has occurred because of that. I expected the Blues to make the playoffs as a wild card team. For now, it doesn't look like that's going to happen. But for now, they're still mathematically alive. We've talked about the missteps though against the Sharks. You can't lose 3 games against the Sharks. You can't lose against the Blue Jackets heading into the All-Star break when you won 5 straight games or 6 straight games, whoever it was. You know, we've talked about this. I think there's a little bit of cherry picking that goes on. After, you know, Blues beat the Blackhawks last night. We talk positively. We get the one crowd coming in saying, "Well, what about the Cardinals? You're letting the Blues get by. They lose last night. We crush them." Then we get the other crowd coming in and say, "Well, what did you guys expect?" So I guess we're doing our jobs.
I think that the Cardinals have. I mean, the Blues won their first championship in 19, right? That was an outstanding time. But the Cardinals have. There's a level of expectation. Like the Blues, in fairness, are still given some grace because of that championship in 19 and the transition that they've had over the last couple of years, trading some of their players, you know, firing your coach now. There's kind of an expectation that they're still working to get back to that level of competing year after year in the playoffs. With the Cardinals, that standard is set. Like, this is the standard. It's not, and if it dips below that standard, then it's anarchy. It's chaos. People are pissed the hell off. Why are we not winning playoff games? Why aren't we winning championships? That's the expectation. And that comes with the territory. When you have had the great amount of success that the Cardinals have had for as long as they have had, the number of Hall of Famers, the great players that have come through here and wore the Cardinal uniform, your expectation is extremely high. And when you don't succeed, when you have a season where you lose 91 games, or you start a season now where you're under 500 and last in the division, again, there's panic setting in because this is an unfamiliar place to be in for Cardinal fans.
So we get another text from, by the way, a follow-up text from the original texter just said, hey, I respect your response. Big fan of the show. So it's always nice to have good dialogue like that. But we do get another text from 314 says, "No, Jamie, you're definitely missing it. The Blues should not get a pass. We were more optimistic about the Blues roster before the beginning of the season than we were about the Cardinals roster pitching staff in particular." So I'm going to ask you guys, were you more optimistic about the Blues going into the season, or were you more optimistic about the Cardinals righting the ship? Like, I would say the expectations were way higher for the Cardinals than the Blues, no?
I don't think they were high on either side.
Yeah, I'm with Kerry.
If it's apples to apples here, going into the season for the Blues, we were hoping for a wild card spot. Like, that would be a success, right?
My statement. I'll just clarify my statement, then Jamie, you can kind of determine based on the text. My expectation for the Blues heading into the season was that they were going to be a wild card team. I know that Doug Armstrong said, "Hey, we'll be the third team in the West." I never believed that.
Okay.
I thought they were going to be one of the wild card teams. The Cardinals are tough because I'm not a believer in the NL Central. But I also don't think that the Cardinals, from a roster construction standpoint, is great. I know the NL Central's off to a good start.
You would say the Cardinals then because you thought the Cardinals would win the division.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
I think I would say neither. I would put them at the same place, like essentially around the same area,
Kerry,
maybe a wild
card. If you had to pick one or the other, what team did you think? No, going into the season, like
going into
that, you can't take into consideration.
I might say the Blues. I might have thought that the Blues would have a better.
See, I disagree.
A better chance to make the playoffs and make a run than I thought the Cardinals would.
I thought the Cardinals. I was looking at the lineup. Yeah, the rotation is question marks all around it, but when you look at the roster, you say, well, Arenado had an off year last year. Now, this is before the season starts.
Right, yeah. Right.
Okay? So let's back it up.
Yeah.
Arenado had a tough season last year. Goldie didn't finish the way he wanted to. Those guys, we know at the back of their baseball cards, say they'll be back. Mm-hmm. Nolan Gorman, he's going to get better. Mason Wynn's going to get better. Jordan Walker's going to get better. We got Tommy Edman in center field before his surgery, all that stuff. So I would say the optimism for the Cardinals was higher for me just because I thought they're going to bounce back from a roster standpoint, and the rotation will be better than it was last year. Is it going to be a significant difference? No, but it'll be better than it was last year. So my expectations were higher for the Cardinals.
I also wonder if maybe some, and I don't want to speak for this listener, but maybe listeners get confused sometimes when we're snarky and we're frustrated when talking about the Cardinals. It's coming from a place of, at least for me, I know how this movie's going to play out. Mm-hmm. I'm excited about some of the young talent, but I also know that they made moves in the offseason to bridge the gap between where they are now from a rotation standpoint to where they want to be. So I can't look at it and say, improvements, done. They improved from last year. They signed Lance Lynn, they signed Kyle Gibson, they signed Sonny Gray. I was excited about Sonny Gray. The other two, I'm like, those are bridge signings. So from an overall expectation standpoint, did I think they were better than a year ago? Yeah, but they still fall short of building a roster that's going to contend and be a legit contender in the National League. And I realize the Dodgers and the Braves are in there too, so it's a little different, a little more difficult. But when we're talking about like our frustrations, that's where my frustrations are coming from. How the roster is built, and the fact that your pitching staff was a question mark coming into this season. You can't have that. For the Blues, we really focused on the defense. We focused on the defense. We thought
you had to after last season.
Right. We thought there was going to be enough offense.
Yeah.
But will the defense improve enough for this team to be a wild card contender?
And it did improve, although here's what I'll say. The defense for the Blues did improve. You have to admit it did, especially when you just isolate Colton Parayko and Nick Leddy. Mm-hmm. Those two guys alone are miles ahead of what they played last year. But the one big difference that you've had for the Blues that's kept them in contention, that's given all of us some kind of hope, is the goaltending. Mm-hmm. And whether it's Binnington or Hofer, I mean, those guys have both played really well this year. Jordan Binnington, obviously, he's gotten the lion's share of the starts, as he should, but he's played very well. And so that good goaltending always makes up for bad defense.
Right.
Now, you can't say that last year because it was so many open net chances and so many backdoor tap-ins and so many opportunities that teams had that you really didn't matter how good your goalie was. Like, nobody was stopping the puck.
Yeah.
But this year, you cleaned it up a little bit. You're blocking more shots. You're making sure there's bodies in front of the net. And Jordan Binnington is making the saves he's supposed to make. And then he's making one or two a game that he shouldn't make. And that's been the difference. So from that standpoint, you see improvement with the Blues. And we're getting a lot on the text line just saying, hey, the Blues, too. Doug Armstrong also told us this is what's going to happen. This is what we're going to look like. Don't expect a Stanley Cup parade in the near future of the next couple. And people are still pissed that Mo has never really addressed the fan base, that he doesn't really talk to the fan base about what the plan truly is. And so people are angry at that. But I just go back to looking at the rosters overall. Mm-hmm. And when you've got as many Gold Gloves as the Cardinals do in their current roster, and you've got a couple of guys that can flat out hammer the ball going into the season, I thought my expectations were a lot higher for the Cardinals.
All right, it's Fastlane on 101 ESPN. So that went in a fun direction, I think. I don't know. Wait, what do you guys think? Leave us a mic drop on it. Because we do get a fair amount of text messages or you guys are way too negative about the Cardinals. Well, leave us a mic drop. I'm to the point now where I'm actually kind of fascinated by it. I'm interested. You guys listen to the show. If you're frustrated because you always think we're bitching and moaning about your Cardinals and you've got maybe a more optimistic take on it, we have many ways for you to get to be a part of the show. Leave us a mic drop. I want to hear from somebody that says, hey, here's why I think here's my opinion, here's why I think you guys are negative, as opposed to, you guys suck baseball. Yeah, I don't know, you don't know my team. Okay, well,
appreciate it.
We got 4 hours here. Let's have a conversation, No,
I was going to say, I think Blues for me because, and I think a lot of people will agree with this, they trust Army more than they trust Mo. Just based on Army is
they're also more tired of Mo.
Well, because of people feel that he's a little bit arrogant, he doesn't have to have maybe I think people think that I've heard it plenty of times, seen it.
I've seen
it. and because you don't have an end of season press conference, you don't talk to the people that show up to your games.
Yeah.
Whereas Army, after the trade deadline, had a press conference in the hotel. Let me explain to you what's going on, why we didn't do anything. We didn't do anything, and I'm still going to meet with you. That's a difference in how you present your organization and how people perceive it. And so I think that's part of the frustration when you talk about Cardinal fans. It's like, yeah, what my kids' teachers, you get what you get and you don't have a fit. That's how Mo seems to handle his business. And I think fans get bothered by that mindset.
Mm-hmm. I agree. I think it's pretty simple in today's day and age. Just communicate. You don't have to give them the whole truth. Like, you don't have to give them everything, but give the fan base something, especially since the fan base includes all of your corporate sponsors. Let's be honest. Yeah, they're called corporate sponsors. They're still fans. Otherwise, they wouldn't be doing it. Yeah. And then you go right down to your bleacher seats and whatnot, your $1, $2, $5 tickets, depending on where you go here in the last little while. Those people, too, like, they all want to know what the plan is. Mm-hmm. And it doesn't mean you have to execute your plan to perfection, because sometimes that's just not possible. But at least here in St. Louis, the people just want to know what's going on.
That's Jamie Rivers, Kerry Davis. I'm Anthony Stalter's Fastlane on 101 ESPN. Let's get into the Lars Nootbaar conversation. He's been activated. Victor Scott staying with the Cardinals. It's Pedro Pajis that is being sent down to the minors. So what does this mean now for the lineup? That's next on 101 ESPN.
When you're dealing with car insurance or home insurance and you need something done, or you're trying to find out information, man, that can be hard sometimes. That's why I choose Tracy Bibb and the Bibb Agency. I used to have to call a 1-800 number and really jump through hoops the whole time to try and just find somebody who could understand my policy or even check on something. Not today. Picked up the phone, called Tracy today regarding my son's car, his insurance policy. Boom, I had answers immediately, but within 5 minutes, everything was solved, and I got to go back on with my day and not worry about anything. I want that for you. I want that for you right now and for your kids if they're new drivers or they're young adults. So please call Tracy Bibb at Allstate Insurance. They do an amazing job. They're going to get you the best coverage possible, going to fight to get you the best possible rates. And one thing I know for sure is you're going to get the best customer service. So call today for a free non-committal quote. That number is 314-328-4260. Again, that's 314-328-4260. It really is no fib. You're in good hands with Tracy Bibb.
101 ESPN Sports Center.
I'm Andrew Marsh. It's time for a Sports Center update driven by Johnny Londoff Chevrolet and Johnny Londoff Autoplex. The Blues defeat the Chicago Blackhawks last night by a final score of 5-2. They are now 3 points out of that final wild card spot with 3 games left to play. They'll take on the Carolina Hurricanes tomorrow night. Pregame starts at 6 o'clock. Puck drop is at 7, and we'll have all the action for you right here on 101 ESPN. The Cardinals are off today, but they'll be back in action tomorrow, taking on the Arizona Diamondbacks as Steven Matz takes the mound going up against Brandon Pfaadt. 8:40 first pitch. Lars Nootbaar has been activated, and we are going to dive into that coming up next right here in the Fast Lane. I'm Andrew Marsh, and the Sports Center update is driven by Johnny Londoff. Find new roads and shop 24/7 at londoff.com and londoffautoplex.com. Are you kidding me?
Lars Nootbaar has been activated from the injured list, and it was not Victor Scott that was sent out. It was Pedro Pajis, the third catcher for the Cardinals. So interesting development here, boys. I think that this says as much about Wilson Contreras' potential health than it does anything else about the outfield. Because you're not going to send Pajis out if you don't feel like Wilson Contreras is full go to catch again. Right. You're good to go. But it is interesting to look at the situation from an outfield perspective. If you have from left to right now, Donovan, Victor Scott, and Jordan Walker and Scott are the two young guys. If they're not getting at bats at the big league level, they need to be in Memphis. So maybe you give Victor Scott, a day off or so. But at some point, Lars Nootbaar is going to be your center fielder. You're not going to replace Nolan Gorman at second base with Donovan. Gorman has that power element. You're not going to replace Donovan. Donovan's been one of your more consistent hitters thus far. So where else are you borrowing from? Ivan Herrera's got to be in the lineup. Wilson Contreras is still one of your best hitters. Those two guys got to be in the lineup. So I think this is really interesting that they didn't make Victor Scott the one that's being sent out.
No, what's going to be interesting is the lineup game tomorrow.
Yeah, no kidding.
Look, not great.
So here's the way I look at it, though, is, one, do you really want to demote Victor Scott after that game? I don't. Do I think that he needs to spend some time in AAA? Yes. But the timing of the demotion sometimes is everything as well.
Sure.
He comes off of his toughest game where he has an error in the outfield. He turns the wrong way at first base. It's a tough day for him.
Yeah.
And then you send him down? Why? You just wait. Give him another series and let it work itself out. You Nootbaar in. You get through the next series with 2 catchers. You don't need 3. Mm-hmm. If Contreras is ready, fine, then you're okay either way. But after that, then if you want to demote Victor Scott or send him down for some at-bats at AAA, now the kid's not feeling like I just had the worst game in my life, and now I hate this, and I'm it happens because you sit there and you end up blaming yourself for every single. You start watching the tape again.
It's hard.
It's terrible.
When you don't have confidence, you become the worst version of yourself. I went through a period. I think I told you this before, where I couldn't catch a pass. I literally, Coach Turner, my college coach, head coach, said, if Kerry Davis is in the game, this is in a team meet, and this play is called, I was the number 1 read. Call a timeout. Don't throw the damn ball. I couldn't catch anything.
That probably helped you.
It was, I'm like, it just sink down, might as well just dwindle away. Why am I here?
What's his name in the replacements? Did they stick him?
Oh, yeah.
Washington?
Yeah. Clifford Franklin.
It was bad, man. It was really bad.
Looks like I...
Confidence, confidence is the most important thing in sports. If you have confidence, you're okay. But if you get to the point where you're saying you send them down after that performance, it could shatter your confidence, and it's going to take even longer to rebuild it back up.
Yeah. So my ultimate thought is that Victor Scott sticks around for another series coming up. And then if Wilson Contreras can't quite catch, or if both him and Herrera are still bopping, then I think you might see Scott go down and maybe, what's his name, Pages?
Pages.
I know, I'm joking.
Yeah.
And maybe see him come back up so that you can keep Contreras and Herrera in the lineup every day, and you got a backup catcher now so you don't have to ruin the DH spot.
Yeah, I'm just thinking from a logistics standpoint.
Who plays?
Yeah, who plays? Because to me, because so when Nootbaar comes back, Nootbaar is going to be in center field. So you're going to have Donovan, Nootbaar.
I think Donnie gets the heave-ho.
Yeah.
No, not because he's bad. I just think that Donnie will get some reps at second base. I think that he'll be the guy that starts getting people off their feet.
You know what's going to happen is the thing that you didn't want to happen.
They've already got a bunch of days off.
The thing you didn't want to happen, Anthony, is I didn't mean to cut you off.
No, you're fine.
I was going at it. I know. I was trying to. Hey, stop it. And sometimes I have to be the parent. The thing that's going to happen is, you know what that. Yeah. The thing that I think is going to happen, which you do not want to happen, either Contreras or Herrera is going to be out of the lineup.
No way. No way.
Victor Scott can't sit on the bench.
You're not catching you're not hitting the ball as it is. You want to take my two best hitters.
Understand what I'm saying? Victor Scott being in this lineup with Lars Nootbaar being back in the lineup, you wouldn't have him still here, and it depends on how long they plan on keeping him here. But if he's here for, let's see, the next week or so, he's not sitting on the bench because you can't get better on the bench, which means that Lars Nootbaar is probably in left field, which means Brendan Donovan is maybe at second or maybe at DH. And if he's at DH, then either Contreras or probably Herrera is not in the lineup. That's kind of what Marshy and I were talking about yesterday. What happens when all of these people come back healthy? You don't have enough spots. And if Victor Scott is going to be here, he's going to play because you don't have a guy that sitting on the bench that is young and trying to figure out life.
So I think that I agree with what you're saying. I think that Lars goes to left field, and we're talking about a week, 5 to 7 days here is what we're talking about. Because I think after that, I think Victor Scott will go down to AAA.
Because Dylan Carlson's going to be back at some point.
He got a lot of stuff going on, and Victor Scott
run over by the train.
He did. That is a big.
Yeah, get out the way.
Human.
Call the ball.
But Victor Scott, let's just be honest. If he's still not hitting the ball after the next 5 to 7 days, it's just not going to miraculously change at the major league level. You got to give the kid a chance to go down and face some pitching and get some confidence back. So I think Donnie becomes your utility guy. I think that if Arenado needs a day off at third, he goes there. Second base for Gorman. First base, he's played first base for Goldie before. He could play right field. He could play, maybe there's a day you give Victor Scott a day off, and Newt goes over to center field, and Donovan, I think he becomes the super utility guy that you basically signed him to be.
Yeah, that makes more sense than not having Herrera and Contreras in the lineup.
That's what. Well, okay, yeah. Somebody will be taking a day off.
Yeah,
but that's not going to be Gorman and Arenado aren't going to have every day off.
No.
So eventually you're going to run into that problem.
Yeah, you're going to bounce. I think what Jamie's saying is you're going to bounce Donovan around.
Yeah.
Which at one point that was the thought process.
That's kind of what they said.
Yeah, he was just gonna bounce around. Marsh, do you know when Dylan Carlson is expected back? I haven't seen a whole bunch of.
I don't think they've really said
thoughts on him yet.
No.
Let's see here. The last one I'm seeing on Twitter. Saw specialists expected to continue strength exercises. He was injured on March 25th. Has still not been cleared to resume baseball activities, but that was April 8th, so that was 3 days ago. So maybe he's not going to be expected back for a couple of weeks.
Do you think that we got a text from the 870? It says, yes, but now your defense just got really bad. Come on, guys. Where did it get bad? Because quite honestly, you still have, Jordan Walker's in right field. It is what it is. But you're going to have Victor Scott or Nootbaar at center field. You'll have Donovan or Nootbaar in left field. Mm-hmm. And then your infield, Donovan is a Gold Glover, utility guy. He plays everywhere. I don't understand. I don't see how the defense gets worse. I don't get it.
Yeah, I mean, Victor Scott's a really good defensive center fielder, notwithstanding, yesterday notwithstanding. But Lars Nootbaar is not. I don't get the thought process that
the narrative that he can't play center field is kind of perplexing to me.
I agree.
This is a good question. When is Carpenter coming back? Because that is also it's another roster spot. So you have Carlson, Carpenter, and Edman.
That is a good point.
Who's going where?
While they're having this dilemma, Matt Carpenter's not coming back.
So you're hurt.
I think that's a situation right now. Is that oblique came out of nowhere?
Hey, is it sore? It looks bad.
And I'm not even being a jerk. I think Matt Carpenter kind of knew what his role was going to be coming back to this team. It was more of a player coach than anything.
I would have expected Crawford before Carpenter, though, if that was the case.
The text line is right. So think about this timeline. He was placed on the 10-day IL, retroactive to April 2nd. So we're coming up on that.
Carpenter?
Yes. So that's going to be the move. Carpenter's going to come off the IL. Victor Scott down to Memphis.
I don't think so.
I do.
Tomorrow?
10 days, yeah, 12. I think that's going to be the move.
We'll see.
Well, so you think Matt Carpenter is not going to come off the IL?
Not while they have this traffic jam, while they figure things out.
They signed him to be the ultimate veteran and salsa maker in that clubhouse.
Yeah,
There's no way.
That's where they're going to leave him,
when
in the clubhouse.
When Carlson comes back, whenever that is, then somebody else has to go.
Yes, that's where it gets.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But we might be a couple of weeks away from that.
And then Tommy Edman,
And so they're
that's
just
a whole
praying
other,
for more injuries. Like somebody.
I don't know if they're praying.
I don't know if they pray for an injury.
Yeah.
I mean,
If
if
everybody
somebody
stays
was
healthy.
blocking my position, I might pray a little bit. Yeah. Maybe go out and fight that guy in practice. It has happened.
It has happened before. All right. Fast lane here in the fast.
The best man.
What did I do to him?
Jamie Rivers. I said fast lane here in the fast lane. Jamie Rivers, Kerry Davis, Anthony Stalter. What's trending is next on 101 ESPN.
The medicine shop in St. Charles is my only choice when it comes to pharmacy needs. And fellas, if you are currently taking ED meds, which is fine, nobody cares. I care that you pay too much for those ED meds. Eliminate that. Head over to the medicine shop in St. Charles. They are truly your destination for cheap ED meds. They have a generic called sildenafil for less than $2 a pill. Prescription required, of course. And that's not it. The medicine shop also has an amazing program where they offer free discreet shipping and delivery to your home of any, or your workplace for that matter, of any medicines that you require on a regular basis. So again, if you can't get to the pharmacy, let the pharmacy come to you. But if you do need to go into the pharmacy, go see my pharmacy family. They are going to love taking care of you. They're going to answer all your questions. Cold and flu, allergy season, whatever it is, they're going to make sure that you leave the medicine shop in St. Charles satisfied and that you're feeling better. And that's what they want. And tell all your friends and your family, too, about how awesome they are. Or you can also visit them at stcharles.pharmacy. That's stcharles.pharmacy.
what's going on in the sports world with What's Trending Now. Brought to you by Goodwill. Donate a car and get tickets to the St. Louis Cardinals.
So unfortunately, we start off what's trending with some sad news. The Snake Pit let us know. The Snake Pit, of course, is our Air Alliance team YouTube channel at 101 ESPN STL. The Snake Pit let us know today that we have lost one of the members of the Snake Pit. Day Drinking Brian, he went by, unfortunately has passed away. And we verified here, so we weren't, risking any privacy issues and things like that. But so we just want to kind of send out our thoughts to his family and certainly the Snake Pit, because we, as much as we argue and debate and we do have a lot of fun, we do set up the show to make it feel like a family. Yeah. To make it feel like we are hanging out together, whether you're watching us or listening us. That's the vibe we want to create. And the Snake Pit, including Brian, he you guys play along with that. And not only play along with it, you really adopt that. Mm-hmm. So, yeah, our thoughts, we just wanted to send our thoughts out. And thank you to the Snake Pit for letting us know that he had passed away. So we're certainly sorry to hear that.
Yeah, Anthony, you and I said a long time ago when we were doing the midday show together that we always wanted our listeners to feel like they knew us.
Yeah.
They knew our lives, our family stories, just our everyday kind of stuff. And Carey, you've joined in here in the Fast Lane with us, and you're the same way. You're an open book. And so it always stinks when you have a member of your listening family that now has passed away, and the YouTube channel, The Snake Pit, has been an added addition to the show and to the station, and just sucks, man. Brian was an active guy on here, and I know that The Snake Pit and everybody else going to miss him greatly.
No doubt.
Yeah, definitely condolences to his family, to his friends, to all of the Snake Pit, because they have become like family. Every day they're, cracking jokes with each other, talking to one another. Hey, what are you cooking? And all those things in the Snake Pit. So, condolences to his family and his friends. And, we do love our listeners. We enjoy that you all interact with us, because it gives us, fuel at times to continue to go on and try to keep putting out good content. So we thank you all. And again, condolences to him and to his family.
Just a very funny member of the Snake Pit, always driving conversation. And, he was the one that, on behalf of the Snake Pit, gave me a birthday present, which we talked about on the show a few weeks ago. So this is tough news for sure.
Yeah.
I don't know really how to transition for what's trending.
No
but
easy one.
Jordan Montgomery, former Cardinal, obviously did not get the contract that I believe he was looking for this offseason. And according to Kylie McDaniel, he has switched agencies and will no longer be represented by Scott Boras.
Ooh,
I keep pushing back on this Scott Boras thought, and maybe I need to readjust my thought process here. People have brought up, hey, maybe the league has grown tired of working with Scott Boras. I mean, it took a while if that's the case. But we saw Blake Snell and Jordan Montgomery among some other players that did not get the contract that the market would have demanded. Mm-hmm. And whether that was Scott Boras behind the scenes or other factors, we're not privy to that information. But there does seem to be some smoke here with Scott Boras, and now you have one of his clients saying, "I'm changing agencies." You typically do not see that with Scott Boras clients.
You think maybe it was that there was a contract with more years available and maybe was talked out of it, or was it? The worst thing could be it wasn't brought to him. Like if it's not brought to him, that is a fireable offense.
Terrible.
And now we could probably talk some lawsuit conversations. And I don't know if that's what took place, but I just wonder if there was an opportunity for a place where more years, maybe not the money that they thought, but more years, because the years are that security. You're going to be in a certain place for X number of years, 3-4 years, whatever the case may be, as opposed to 1 year, rinse and repeat and try this process again in the 25 offseason.
So, Carey, you know the world of professional sports as well as I do, and things always make their way out at some point. And this is a situation for me to where I feel like Scott Boras was uber aggressive on the open market with both Blake Snell and Jordan Montgomery. He thought he was going to hit a home run with both pitchers. They were the top dogs that were available, and he probably got too aggressive.
Yeah.
Probably got too aggressive, and Jordan Montgomery now is finding out through sources, because we always have friends and buddies and places.
We offered.
And there'll be teams that probably said, hey, look, we offered him like 6 years at this. Or they said, we would have, but you guys were you did your heels dug in so much, like, forget it. We weren't jumping in that pool. No way. So Montgomery's sitting there going, okay, now I've got to go and perform like I did last year to have another shot at this.
Well, hopefully I don't get injured.
Whatever.
Hopefully I don't have a
great
bad
year,
season. Yeah.
And I could have had 5 years at, whatever the number would be. So I think that's what happened is he's tired of the agent being so aggressive that he feels like, he got a contract this year, but ultimately he lost out on a lot of guaranteed money.
I do go back, though, to what Matt Holliday told us. Matt has had Scott Boras. He had Scott Boras for a long time. Now Jackson Holliday, I believe, is represented by Scott Boras. And Matt had said to us, he works for me. Yeah,
but that's Matt. Not everybody has that kind of confidence.
I would think that Jordan Montgomery,
Matt
would
only
have
said that once he was here as a Cardinal. Because remember, Scott Boras wanted to go get him more, and Matt said, no, I want to be a Cardinal. Find a way to make it work for me to be a Cardinal.
But if Jordan Montgomery said the same thing, and maybe it's not the Cardinals, maybe it's something else, but if Jordan Montgomery said the same thing, why would Scott Boras all of a sudden say, he's got...
But what if Boras says, hey, Jordan, I understand your feelings right now, but I'm going to get you paid. This is my job. You need to let me do my job.
Ultimately, he ditched him, so you guys might be right in this.
That sounds like to me that...
Something obviously happened.
Right.
Scott, hey, trust me, I got you. I trust me, I'm going to make this happen. I couldn't make it happen. And now you're sitting there as a player.
Yeah, but I got you a great 1 year deal.
$25 million, not bad, but it's 1 year.
Not two.
Yeah.
It's not bad.
Option.
Essentially a 1 year.
Yeah, it's not bad, but...
Same thing for Snell.
It's not 5 years, $115 million, $100 million, whatever the case may be.
Yeah.
Last thing here. This is from Jeff Passan. Ipe Mizuhara. This is not good for this guy. Two things. One, the size of his bets and the debt he allegedly incurred were massive, losing bets nearly of $183 million, winning bets of more than $142 million, and $40.7 million in losses. And the second thing is there were no bets on baseball. What are your thoughts on what has come out about Shohei Ohtani's interpreter?
Well, that last part is key in relation to Shohei Ohtani's future.
Yeah.
As long as there weren't... look, it's an unbelievable story. There's no question about it. This is somebody that sounds like he's got an addiction. So whether it's $5, $10, $10,000, at some point the value of the dollar is lost. So it's not necessarily shocking that he eventually got up to X amount of millions when he's got that much to play with. Two questions. One, you just answer. If there's nothing on baseball, good for Shohei Ohtani. But the second other big question here, which is on everybody's mind, is how much did Shohei Ohtani know? What was going on? Was he a part of it? Whether he was placing bets, going along with those bets, or just bailing him out constantly, how much did he know?
Apparently, there's a report that came out. Jeff Passan has been tweeting out snippets of it, and apparently there's one point where they go through, I don't even know, an ungodly amount of text messages between the interpreter and Shohei Ohtani. Pardon me. And in nowhere is it ever mentioned about gambling.
Okay.
They never discussed betting or gambling or anything to those, to that nature for what they provided anyways.
Sure.
And if he got busted like recently doing this, then the most recent text messages would certainly have, I would believe, a trail of some kind.
Yeah, sure.
If we go back 5, 6, 7 years, like who knows?
Right.
But I don't know. It gets more intriguing every time you read something.
This is from Jeff Passan. A seeming confession from Mizuhara via the text from the bookmaker on the day Tisha ESPN's story ran. This is what it says. On or about March 20th, 2024, Mizuhara messaged Bookmaker One stating, "Have you seen the reports?" Bookmaker One responded, "Yes, but that's all BS. Obviously, you didn't steal from him. I understand it's a cover job. I totally get it." Mizuhara then responded to Bookmaker One, "Technically, I did steal from him. It's all over for me."
Oh. Yeah.
That's the perfect cover-up right there.
Yeah, I mean...
Yeah, the fall guy, Carey.
Get your fall guy.
Yeah.
If that's the case,
I want to see his bank account after he gets out of prison or whatever.
I don't know.
Want to look at that.
Nobody is ever going to know. But if you sent that in a text, did you see this news? Yeah, technically I did steal from him. It's all over for me.
Winking emoji.
Wink, wink.
You got that text, right?
Did it send?
Yeah.
Need to make sure you read it too.
Wow.
Yeah, I don't know. That's if you are a criminal, that's not a smart criminal.
No.
You don't.
Well, I don't think we're dealing with the top brass here.
Whew. Hey, man. I just find it hard to believe that $16 million of my money or anyone's money could come up missing.
Yeah.
True. I know Shohei has a lot of money.
Yeah, but that's
Granted,
still 16 mil.
Still $16 million.
Right.
The people I know that have a lot of money know exactly where their money is.
To the penny.
Right.
Like, more so than, anybody else.
That's how they. That's one of the reasons they got rich.
Yes.
I mean, they know how to
losing tens of millions of dollars just to know. Wait, where did that $10 million go? I misplaced it. No.
How long should we wait to admit that getting rid of Jordan Hicks was a mistake?
Boy.
That's next on 101 ESPN. Jordan Hicks worked 6 innings, allowed 1 run yesterday in a victory over the Nationals.
That's one game.
Well, it's been pretty good.
It's been good.
Pretty
All
good. Thus far.
It's unbelievable.
So if you look at Jordan Hicks' stats, three games thus far, he's 2-0, 18 innings of work. He's allowed 12 hits, 3 runs, only 2 of which were earned, only 1 home run, a 13-3 strikeout to walk ratio, a 1.00
what's his ERA, though? Right? He's giving up a lot of runs
and
in
a
those
0.83 whip. 1.00 ERA, 0.8383 whip. Now, Jordan Hicks, as you know, was a reliever for the Cardinals, got a very small stint as a starter, and the Giants said, we'll sign you as a starter. Let's roll. So far, so good.
So let me. I didn't want to cut you off, but let me ask you a question. Let me ask you all a question.
Yeah.
What did the San Francisco Giants see to say, you know what, we'll pay you to be a starter, that the St. Louis Cardinals did not see when you had them here for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 years? Mm-hmm. What was it that they saw that said, you know what, I think you can be a starter for our franchise? And then he goes out and does really well and showing them they're pretty damn smart. Why is it that they were able to see what the Cardinals were unable to see? Yes, sir.
Carey, they didn't believe he was a reliever.
Neither did he.
Which is an important distinction.
Neither did he.
They didn't view him as a reliever.
Neither did he.
You're
the
right.
Cardinals did, though.
But he didn't.
So the Cardinals never got past. Hold on.
That's the big. I think that's the most frustrating part of it.
Right.
Okay, I know, but do you ever get in a situation? And this doesn't look good on the Cardinals. Okay, so what I'm saying is eventually going to not look good on the Cardinals. Okay, so understand I'm not defending them. Just walk with me, Jamie. Interlocking fingers. There we go. Hand in hand, interlocking fingers. Okay.
None of that hand-on-hand crap.
No. You guys ever have a thought, right? And you are so just entrenched in that thought. And then any little example just confirms your thought. Total confirmation bias over and over and over again. To the point where you can't see anybody else's perspective on it. You can't change your thought on it. This is what it is. That is what I think what happened with Jordan Hicks and the Cardinals. They only believed in him as a reliever. He really didn't have. Again, he didn't. I've made this point before. He didn't have a third pitch that he was relying upon when he did have an opportunity to be a starter. And the Cardinals just kept saying, "You're a reliever. You have more value to us as a reliever and a potential closer, a back end. That's what we need. That's what you are. That's what you're going to be." The Giants, again, this is an important distinction. The Giants needed a starter. They did not need a closer. They have Dovell. They've got one. They've got a closer. So they viewed it as, we need a starter. This guy wants to start. He's now developed another pitch. Let's give him a chance. Again, the Cardinals perhaps should have had, more perspective on this. They should have had more perspective on this, but if you really want to go through the process here, and if you're asking that question, and it's not rhetorical, Carey, and maybe it is.
No, it's not. It was a real question.
I think that is what happened here.
I think they screwed up. I know that's really easy to kind of summarize it, but again, how do other teams take your players, find something different that they can do with those players and make them better? That's a lack of scouting or talent recognition within the Cardinals organization.
True.
And a lack of development from your positional coaches, whatever it is. Mm-hmm. Because if you had a Jordan Hicks and you didn't know that he was capable of doing this, what the hell are you doing? Because the Giants, and I don't know if now to be fair in the whole process here, the Giants may have been the only friggin' team that called him and said, we want you as a starter.
Yeah.
They might be the only ones. And if they are, maybe they're just that desperate.
They just fell into one?
Or maybe they're geniuses. I don't know who knows. But if there were several teams that were kind of kicking the tires on this, to me, it has to go back to evaluating internally, what are you doing as an organization to where players leave here and have greater success than when they were with you? That's a problem. In any sport, if one player leaves, when several players leave and go on to be high caliber players, let alone all-stars like some of them have become. What's going on internally to where you're letting those guys go?
That's a fair question. I mean, because obviously Jordan Hicks isn't the only one. I'm not going to get into the Tyler O'Neill discussion again. We've been down this.
Everybody else in the country is.
I know, but we've been down this road. Jamie, you have the same thought
I do.
as I do.
I would have traded him too. Is not hanging on to that. No.
But when you give up Lane Thomas, and he really didn't have a great opportunity here. There was something about Lane Thomas that they didn't love either because he started to get buried. He's been a really good player for the Nationals. Is it just about opportunity? Is it about them falling in love with certain outfielders like Harrison Bader or like Tyler O'Neill before they dealt him, or whoever, where they let go of Randy Arozarena? Did they let go of Randy Arozarena because they couldn't scout Arozarena, or because they couldn't scout Harrison Bader, Tyler O'Neill, and what other outfit?
I think it's all the above.
Combination of both.
Absolutely.
But this does seem to keep happening here with the Cardinals.
It does, and it's a bad pattern to have, because then who are the next players that you're misevaluating or underdeveloping that are going to go on?
Underdeveloping would be like, what are you missing? What is missing? Like I don't know. It feels like the Cardinals we're the Cardinals. Done. Like at the casino. Done. There, you shake your hands. I'm done. I'm out. I don't have anything else. Like what more? I don't understand how players, or we'll just talk about Jordan Hicks in this instance. I said this last year, and I think a couple of people were like, "You're crazy. You don't know. You stick to football." You know how that goes.
Yeah, the stick to football guy.
Jordan Hicks. Yeah, the stick football guy. Jordan Hicks presented himself, when I saw him in person, when I watched him play, he presented himself as either a starter or a closer. Mm-hmm. He never presented himself as a person that you trot out there in the 7th inning and he's going to be ecstatic about it. What the hell am I doing? Now I understand that we want to win the game, and I'm a vital part, but I'm either starting this thing or finishing it. And that's how he presented himself when I saw him. When I saw him in person, when I saw him pitch, he never presented himself as a guy that was a middle a middle reliever type of body. That just wasn't what he is it? And so if you're the Cardinals and you only gave him a few opportunities and didn't really give him the real opportunity, why? What did you miss? Mm-hmm. And why is it happening? What did you miss when you Randy Arozarena? We'll take Matthew Liberatore, and he's not.
Well, again,
exceeding
your evaluation
to the level.
of talent there.
What are you missing when you make these decisions and make these trades? Mm-hmm. Adolis Garcia, I know that people. What are you missing?
Right, because is it scouting or development? Because I think they can scout because they have these players.
Then you're not developing. Correct. And most people, that's one of the hardest things in sports is developing a player. Yeah. You can get guys with raw talent, but you have to refine that. Now, some of these guys, you don't need to do anything. You just show up and they plug and play. Mm-hmm. Like they just naturally have it in them. You fine tune some things, but some guys really need that extra development to get to the level where they are.
Sure.
If they leave here and go get that, what are you doing here? Mm-hmm. Or what are you not doing here?
Yeah, that's fair. All right, we got to get to Chris Kerber following last night's Blues victory, so we'll talk to the play-by-play man next on 101 ESPN.
If you're looking for the most epic place on Earth, let's start at the base of a massive waterfall. Then trek through the thick jungle. Then climb to the peak of a snowy mountaintop. Then once you get there, keep going. Because with intelligent 4x4 and 7 drive modes and a Nissan Pathfinder, the search is the real adventure.
Available feature. Intelligent 4x4 cannot prevent collisions or provide enhanced traction in all conditions. Always monitor traffic and weather conditions.
O'Reilly. Protect your vehicle's engine with Syntec and O'Reilly Auto Parts. Syntec Premium Full Synthetic Motor Oil is formulated for today's engines to dissipate heat and friction and reduce wear. Get 5 quarts of Syntec Full Synthetic and a MicroGuard Select filter for just $33.99. Limit supply. See store for details. Get Syntec only at O'Reilly Auto Parts.
O'Reilly Auto Parts.
Hey, Chris Kerber here, and listen, the last couple of months, you've heard myself, you've heard Alex Ferrario talking about Classic Air Care. Well, Classic Air Care is the company that you need to reach out to either online at classicaircare.com or give them a call for all your HVAC needs. Now, we're switching from the heat needed in the winter to the cool needed in the summer. Make sure that unit has been maintained and ready to go. You want to know how you avoid a massive repair of having to replace your entire HVAC unit? You maintain it like any other machine, like your car, anything else that needs some TLC over the course of its life, and Classic Air Care can get it done. They've got a 4.8 rating on Google. Go onto their website, classicaircare.com. Right at the very top, it gives you a chance to click on the ratings to find out what people are saying about the service they're getting from Classic Air Care. So don't just take it from me. Don't just take it from Alex. Take it from your neighbors and take it from anybody that has put their ratings out there for everybody to see on Google. It's Classic Air Care. And again, book an appointment online to get that unit maintained and serviced so you're ready for the summer at classicaircare.com.
Time for Curbside with the voice of the Blues, Chris Kerber. Brought to you by Scott Lee Heating Company, a proud Mitsubishi Electric Elite contractor.
Let's head to our 101 ESPN Celebrity Line. We're joined by our guy Chris Kerber, voice of the Blues, here on the Blues Radio Network and 101 ESPN, following that 5-2 victory last night by the Blues over the Blackhawks. And Kerbs, were you able to adjust in your seat at all yesterday before Jordan Kyrou had put the 3 on the board?
I actually started thinking, I wonder how many people were doing some like in-game live prop betting. When Jordan Kyrou, somebody gets 2 goals in the first 2 minutes and 45 seconds of a game, do you go do a prop bet that he's going to get a hat trick?
Yeah, the odds are way down at that point, but I think you do it anyways.
So it was one of those kind of things. It's one of the cool things about sports that, with as much as we break things down on a game-by-game basis, or you guys are just trying to figure out how the Cardinals couldn't figure out what Jordan Hicks was all about and that kind of stuff, right? Okay? The cool thing about sports, and this is one of my absolute favorite things, you go to a game hoping to be entertained. You go to a game hoping your team wins. If you're so distraught when your team loses, you're in a rough field for that to be in. But having said that, you just never know what you're going to see. And I've always gone back to before Ozzie Smith became a Cardinal and never got to see this play live, right? But that amazing one barehanded play he made when he was still shortstop with the San Diego Padres, right? Anybody that got to see that live saw one of the greatest defensive plays in the history of the game then and still today. Well, last night you saw something that you'd never seen in St. Louis Blues history. So even where we are in the standings and fighting and battling and not having a great shot at the playoffs, the reality of it is you saw something with the fastest 3 goals to start a game in franchise history that nobody that's ever gone to a St. Louis Blues game has ever seen. That to me is one of the romantic part about sports.
Hey, Kerb's talking about players like Jordan Hicks and youth and moving on and all this craziness. The Blues have brought up a lot of young guys here throughout the season, and those young guys are playing prominent roles right now, headed down the stretch. You know, you're watching every game. In your opinion, what do you like what you're seeing out of the young guys here right now?
Well, I think we will see a lot more in a game like tomorrow night against Carolina, or maybe the final game of the regular season against Dallas. Versus what we saw, which was just horrific hockey from Chicago last night. But you know what, Jamie? Let's take Bolduc and Dean just to start things off. They were told what was expected of them when they went to Springfield, and the Blues are real consistent with them, saying, "Yep, the offense hasn't come. We're not worried about that. We like what we're seeing in terms of style of play." And then when they both come up here towards the end of the year, and I love the fact that the Blues are giving them a cup of coffee, give them a chance. They'll now know going into their offseason what some NHL games are like, what the NHL routine is like. That is all part of the developmental process. And they've looked really well. And then the opportunity for Bolduc to move up the lineup and sit on that top line, now you really like what you're seeing from him. And you're still liking some of the backside pressures, some of the stick work, some of the ability to win the wall battles, things like that are definitely a way of showing that they understand what it will take, like Jake Neighbors did for playing hockey. The other thing, Jamie, and like the world about opportunity, right? Well, there were guys on this roster this season that didn't take advantage of an opportunity that they clearly had. And that opened the doors for guys like Matt Kessel and Bolduc and Dean and Neighbors to move up the lineup and Toropchenko to move up the lineup. And when they got that opportunity, they've taken advantage of it. I think you've got to be really pleased with the attitude and the approaches and the all-around progress you've seen from those guys.
Kerbs, can you talk to me about Tyler Tucker? He seems to he played bigger and more physical than his size actually is. What have you seen from him since he's got called back up and gotten an opportunity?
Yeah, you know what? Tyler Tucker, Carey, to me, is one of those guys that didn't take advantage of the opportunity that he had. And the result of that is he's been scratched for more games than he's been in. Had he taken advantage of that opportunity early on and played a style of play that we saw a lot more of last night, then I don't know that Matt Kessel gets an opportunity up here at some point in time this year. I don't know that Scott Perunovich gets the opportunity that he's had quite as much. So I'm pleased for him that when he's gotten back into the lineup recently, you've seen some of the things that made him stick with this team and be in the opening day lineup. And so, again, and especially when you're talking like a fifth-round pick, you understand that there's going to be learning curves. You've got to have patience, but if you go back to a couple of years ago where Tyler Tucker was having just turned pro, and the way Tim Taylor described him, how he understood finally what it meant to be a pro and how he really changed his body type and everything, his diet, and he's getting there, I think this is another year of that learning curve. So did he take full advantage of it right off the top? Nope. Does it look like he's kind of started to figure that out with the last couple games he's played? It sure does. And if that's the case, you got to be really happy for him. And also, if that's the case, and Bobby Plager used to say it all the time, if you learn from that, then that's what we want to see as an organization. And I'm happy to see him play that kind of game that he played last night.
Chris Kerber joins us right now in the Fast Lane on 101 ESPN. Kerbs, when you look at this team and how it's been playing of late, what elements do you think that can translate over to next year and the Blues can rely on that?
Well, I think you now know that Jake Neighbors is a top 6 forward in the National Hockey League. You know that Bolduc could be knocking on that door. That's a positive. Robert Thomas has logged more heavy minutes at center when you look at the way the analytics break down against the other top teams or top players on the other team more than any other centerman in the NHL this year. That is extraordinarily encouraging. The goaltending situation that you've got is I think one of the best in the National Hockey League. That doesn't even need to be touched or looked at. And I think you're pretty happy, too, when you see the kind of dominating type season that Colton Parayko has been able to have and the way he's been able to play back there on the back end. So I think, to me, Anthony, when I look at this season, what translates into next year, you've got some spots filled and some more certainty on some young guys. To me, where are you going to go get some more character, a little more jam, a little more fire, a little more flair, to continue to build the character of this team as much as anything? Because you're still going to have some more young guys coming in. We'll see what Dvorsky does. We'll see if one of the Swedish players comes over. We know Snuggerud is not coming in. So you'll get to that point. But, look, you get one more point on this season, guys, and that's a 90-point season for a team that was supposed to be in transition. They got something figured out, whether the playoffs happen this year or not.
Kerb, speaking of figuring it out, looks like Jordan Kyrou has figured out some things here in the last handful of games here, last 10 games, quite honestly. And, he describes a lot of it as that he's competing a lot more now. He's competing in shifts and competing defensively, and that has translated into offense for him. As you watch the games, and you watch Jordan Kyrou as much as I do, what are you seeing from him here that's ultimately helped him with his success?
I don't think Jordan Kyrou takes the next step in the National Hockey League until he's willing to go to the boards and fight for the puck. Otherwise, it's a two-man thing on that line, and they need that third support, and he's got to bring more of that, in my opinion. He clearly has the skill, and Joe and I were talking about this at the beginning of the game like last night, literally right before he lit the 2 goals up. He gets on a little bit of a hot streak in the final 4 games, and he could have his 3rd consecutive 70-point season. Guys, that's not a small thing, especially for a St. Louis Blue, right? So there's more to his game there. He clearly has the skill to pick up points. He clearly has the skill for offense. There is no doubt in my mind that you have a hockey player that can get you into the 80 to 90-point range, if not more, in what he brings to the table. It's, can he play the system the way the rest of the team needs him to play? And part of that, Jamie, is still learning that the second half of your shift has got to be just as important, if not more important, than the first half. And I think for a while at times this season, we've seen Jordan give up on shifts where, and we saw Vladimir Tarasenko do it a lot. If the first part didn't go well, he might cut his shift short. Vladdy was notorious for that, a 25-second shift. And then that kind of messes everybody else up. I think if Jordan Kyrou picks that up, and then you're talking about it, he's realizing it, that compete in the 35th second, the 45, if you're stuck out there for 45 to 50 seconds, are you still making the smart play before you get off the ice? And if he does that with his offensive ability he's shown, then things are going to start clicking for him.
Kerbs, Robert Thomas sits here with 83 points. And do you believe that he can be a perennial 100-point player if he continues at this pace next season, next few seasons?
That's going to depend on who they give him as his wingers. The way the roster's structured now, no. They need somebody else on that top line. They're going to need a sniper. You're looking at 58, 59 assists for him on the season. And if he's able to get to that 25 to 30 goal plateau, you're pretty happy about that. He's definitely a playmaking center. Does he have the ability to be a 100-point player? Absolutely does. There will still be foundations of his game that will grow from one year to the next, like we were just talking about with Jordan Kyrou, Carey. But I think there's got to be an upgrade of some talent. Nathan McKinnon's doing what he's doing, but he's passing to Rantanen on a pretty regular basis there. That's a pretty big deal. Rantanen is extremely consistent, right? Look at the different wingers that the Blues have put up on that top line with Robert Thomas all season long, and he still is reaching that 83-point plateau, which is the highest point plateau for a St. Louis Blue in an 82-game season since Pavel Demitra in 2003, which is nuts to think about, isn't it? Kucherov, 133 points, 160 points, McDavid, Crosby, Ovechkin, what these guys have done. Blues haven't had a player over 93 points since 2003. That's really something to me. So, yeah, Robert Thomas is definitely that guy, and they've got to continue to upgrade the talent around him, I think, to see that point total hit the century marker higher.
Kerbs, good stuff. Have a great rest of your week and weekend, and we'll be listening certainly when the Blues take on the Hurricanes.
All right, guys. Have an awesome rest of the week. Talk to you later.
Thanks.
See ya.
And the Hurricanes and Blues, they go at it tomorrow night, 6 o'clock pregame right here on 101 at ESPN. We're going to play Hot Take or Hot Garbage next. If you got a Hot Take or Hot Garbage for us, send it in to the Air Comfort Service tax line at 314-399-9646. That's next in the Fast Lane on 101 ESPN.
All right, Carey, I know you love the NBA, and I love it too when I'm using FanDuel, America's #1 sports book. And you can bet the NBA with a no-sweat same-game parlay from FanDuel every Thursday, which, by the way, that's today, when you're watching TNT games. It doesn't matter if you're new to FanDuel or you have an account, you get bonus bets back if your same-game parlay doesn't win on any NBA game on TNT.
Yeah, the NBA same-game parlays are the perfect way to combine your bets for a chance to score a bigger payday. However you want to play, just head to FanDuel.com/fast to bet the NBA with a no-sweat same-game parlay with TNT Thursdays. I told you all this Western Conference is coming down to the wire. There are 2.5 games separates the 7th from the 10th seed. It's going to be fun this last week of basketball in the NBA.
It's going to be fun tonight, too, on TNT, because you got the Knicks and Celtics. Of course, Jason Tatum, local product. He'll be playing tonight again against the Knicks at TD Garden. The other game, Pelicans and Kings. So you get a chance to see Zion Williamson. So it's a perfect night to watch NBA on TNT and, of course, bet on it at FanDuel. Use our promo code FAST at FanDuel.com/fast, and then you can make every moment more with FanDuel, an official sports betting partner of the NBA. Must be 21 or older and present in Illinois. Minimum 3-leg parlay required. Refund issued is non-withdrawable bonus bets that expire 7 days after receipt. Max refund $5 unless otherwise specified. Restrictions apply. See terms at sportsbook.fanduel.com. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER.
ESPN Sports Center.
I'm Andrew Marsh. It's time for a Sports Center update brought to you by Saliga Heating and Cooling. The Blues win 5-2 over the Chicago Blackhawks last night. They are now 3 points out of the final wild card spot with 3 games left to play in the regular season. They'll take on the Carolina Hurricanes tomorrow. Pregame starts at 6. Puck drop is at 7. And you can catch all the action right here on 101 ESPN. We just talked with Chris Kerber, radio voice of the Blues, right here on the Blues Radio Network. If you missed that interview, make sure you go to 101ESPN.com or check out the free 101 mobile app. Just head to the podcast page and you'll find all of our interviews and full shows there. And it's all brought to you by Dobbs Tire and Auto Centers. The Cardinals are off today, but they'll take on the Arizona Diamondbacks tomorrow as Steven Matz takes the mound. Going up against Brandon Pfaadt. 8:40 first pitch. We have hot take or hot garbage coming up next. So if you have a hot take, send it our way to the Air Comfort Service text line 314-399-9646. Hot take or hot garbage coming up next. I'm Andrew Marsh, and this Sports Center update is brought to you by Saliga Heating and Cooling, independent American Standard Heating and Air Conditioning dealer.
Hot take. Time for a little hot take or hot garbage here in the Fast Lane on 101 ESPN. Kerry Davis, Jamie Rivers, I'm Anthony Stalter. Andrew Marsh with your hot take or hot garbage via the Air Comfort Service text line 314-399-9646.
All right, this one comes from Grant Francis's fan club.
All right.
Hot take or hot garbage. The Blues are the best team in the NHL when it comes to drafting and developing prospects.
I have to think about that for a second. Let me pull up my stuff here. So here's what I will say. Some of the other teams are pretty good too, but I guess for me the better question is: have the Blues done a good job of not having top draft picks yet continuing to produce good young players? Because Eric Johnson is the last first overall pick we had. And we haven't had a top 10 pick since then.
Yeah.
So when you look at that and you look at some of the guys that you've picked up, having a Robert Thomas that, a first rounder, but still later in the first round, Kyrou, a second round player, Tucker, 5th round, Kessel, 5th round player. Like, you're developing pretty good talent. Now, Bolduc and some of these guys you got, but still late first-round pick for Zach Bolduc. Zach Dean was a first-round pick by the Golden Knights, and he was a later pick as well. So I think the Blues do a really good job of finding the best available talent in the draft for where they're slotted, and then they do a real good job of developing.
From the 618, hot take or hot garbage. Mason Wynn will end up having a far better career than Jordan Walker.
Ooh. I mean, based on what we're seeing this season, yeah. A little hard to tell moving forward, though.
That's Albert Pujols in right field. Don't you forget it.
He's going to be playing first base at some point.
Albert never played in right field.
Yeah, remember what John Mozeliak said.
He played a game in right field, I believe.
I haven't seen a player like this since Albert Pujols.
One game.
Who did?
Albert.
Mo also said you'd have to pry Dylan Carlson out of his cold, dead hands.
And that might be something.
Yeah, probably shouldn't have said that.
Mo also traded Randy Rosarina for Matthew Liberatore.
Jordan Hicks, the next Cy Young Award winner.
He traded for Nolan Arenado and Paul Goldschmidt.
Yeah, because Colorado's GM was drunk when he made that phone call.
Think he had a few?
Yeah.
Probably. I'm going to say that's hot garbage. I think Mason Wynn is going to be a stud. I think Jordan Walker is going to figure it out and start hitting the cover off of the baseball around May 15th. Making my prediction like March.
May 15th? Okay.
Yeah, that's when you're going to start seeing it's going to be raking.
Just because got to warm up a little bit for him?
Yeah, he's got the weather. Him and Goldie don't like the cold. I thought you all understood that.
My fingers hurt.
It hurts when you hit the bat.
Now your back's going to hurt because you just pulled landscaping duty. Anybody else's fingers hurt? I'm going to say hot take. Mason Wynn is going to be the better ball player.
Shame on you.
What do you mean shame on me?
Shame on you is what I said.
Wow.
Yeah, that's what I said.
Hot take.
All right.
Mason Wynn, better defender. I don't think we can argue that.
Well, it depends if Walker ever gets to play the position he was drafted at.
All I know is Mason Wynn's a better defender.
You hush your mouth, Jamie.
What? I said
he's gonna.
I said it depends if he gets to play the position he was drafted
Well,
at.
you got 2 Hall of Famers. Which one?
Not for long.
You want him to play third base?
Yep. Get
You
rid
got
of
a
that
Hall of
dead
Famer
weight.
there.
If those two guys are
You
long,
want him to play first base? You got a Hall of Famer there.
if those two guys
Get
are
out
here
here.
longer than Jordan Walker, we have a serious problem.
I wouldn't.
And they might
I wouldn't
be.
put it
You
past
never know.
them.
6-year contract extension coming for Goldie.
Goldie on the way.
Yeah.
Gonna just fall over at
My
first
official
base.
answer is way too early to tell, but that's not fun. That doesn't make good radio. So, Mason Wynn does not chase as much as Jordan Walker does. That would lead to a higher walk rate, a lower strikeout rate. Doesn't have the same pop or the same hard hit rate, but. Yeah, based on these statistics over 2 weeks, I would say Mason Wynn, going to be a better ball player.
From the 636, Anthony, this one will be tough for you.
Uh-oh.
Hot take or hot garbage? UConn will three-peat, and the Chiefs will not.
Oh.
Oh, wow. That's a real Stalter's choice.
It certainly is,
We
Jamie.
haven't had one of those in a while.
Certainly is. Oh, man. I can't go against Mahomes. So
I was gonna say hot garbage.
I said I'd never go against Mahomes again. So hot garbage. Yeah. Unfortunately, UConn's going to fall next year in the national title game to a Cinderella story, the Central Michigan Chippewas.
That is a Cinderella story. Did they make the tournament
Fire
this
up
year?
chips.
Did they make the tournament this year?
What about last year?
They made the MAC tournament, yeah.
No. What about the NCAA tournament?
They did when I was in college, yes.
Is that the last time?
Yep.
Oh, it's been a while. It's the do factor.
They're not due for anything.
What do you mean?
No.
They had a decent year.
Sure they did.
The
do factor.
Their head coach was the MAC coach of the year.
That's amazing.
They're on the rise.
There you go.
I'm very happy for that.
Fire up chips, baby.
Do factor.
So, yeah, Central Michigan beats UConn in the national title game next year, thwarting a three-peat. And the Chiefs and Mahomes, they three-peat.
All right.
So I say
Okay.
hot garbage to that, sir.
Marshy, let's move on.
Yeah.
Like segments or to the next question?
Next question.
Gotcha. From the 618, hot take or hot garbage, the NFL will consume the UFL and St. Louis will get a team back.
Oh, that'd be awesome.
That would be awesome.
That's
I
hot
think it's hot garbage.
I don't think it's going
Have you seen the cities that are in the UFL? They're not consuming that at any point. The only team they'd want is St. Louis, and they don't want to do that.
How ironic. Can you imagine? How ironic, yeah. If they were going to take anybody, it'd be St. Louis based on the popularity.
That's right. Yet that St. Louis was lost because, the fans don't show up.
Right.
Unreal.
Idiots.
Which was never the case.
No.
Product was garbage.
That's correct.
That was the problem.
And people caught wind that their
They were leaving town.
snake oil salesman owner was out of town. Yeah, was leaving.
Last one here from the 314. Hot take or hot garbage. Tyler O'Neill will finish in the top 10 in home runs in the American League this year.
Oh, that's
Hot garbage.
No, that's a hot take.
I'll take it a step
For
further.
sure.
Top 10 MVP as well.
Oh, that's a hot take too, Kerry. Yeah.
How can you do that when you blow out your hamstring in a week?
How's it going to
Or
do
have a
that?
sore back?
This year is going to be like that
Or
year
a
a couple
sore
of years
tummy.
back. Do you hear me? This
hear
year
you.
will be like 3 years ago for Tyler O'Neill. And then he'll spend the next 3 years injured.
I'm playing 135 games this year.
Let's see the last time he played 135 games. Probably the year Jamie was just
That's what
referring
I'm
to.
saying.
Probably.
It's
Let's
like
see.
his career is like leap years. Every 4 years he has a great year.
The Cardinals missed out. They didn't predict it well enough then.
That year he played 138
There you
games.
go.
He hasn't been in the same
MVP.
hemisphere as
Top
that number
8
in
in the
any
MVP.
other year.
135 games.
Played 96 games the following year, 72 last year. 72.
Oh, I know, Anthony.
No way he finishes top 10
You wait
in
and
home
see.
runs in the American League.
You just watch.
Do you know who's in the American League? Other former Cardinals like Adolis Garcia and Randy Arozarena
What about
and Richie
What
Palacios.
about 3 of them are finalists?
That would
make my day.
That'd be old quick kick to the old huevos rancheros.
Hilarious.
Be a mule kick to the huevos rancheros.
That'd be tough.
Three Cy Young Award winners.
Tough.
Three Cy Young finalists in the NL.
That would be
former
painful,
Cardinals.
too.
That would be.
It's possible. That's the worst part.
That would be.
It's totally in play.
I saw a video on Twitter.
Like Jordan Hicks.
Zach Gallen, Sammy Alcantara.
Sign them up.
I saw
those guys on your team.
I saw a video on Twitter. I can't remember who it was. It was a video of Randall Grichuk hitting a home run, and the caption was "Fire Mo." Randall Grichuk.
Well, so to take it a step further, I was just looking at the pitching leaders, all of Major League Baseball. There are 1, 2, 3, 4. I didn't see this other name. There are 4 pitchers with 3 wins in the in all of Major League Baseball, right? Tyler Glasnow, Cody Bradford, Luke Weaver, and Shelby Miller. Now Weaver and Miller are relievers now, but nonetheless they're Cardinals. I saw Shelby Miller. I didn't see Luke Weaver when I brought this up. Yeah,
we would have an all-star team.
Imagine if we had all the guys back. Garcia, Arozarena, O'Neill in the outfield.
Ozuna's top 5 in RBI.
I'm okay with him now.
O'Neill is top 2. He's got the home run lead. He's tied with Mike Trout. Ozuna's got 5. He's in that mix too. Let me see if I see any other Cardinals here. Former Cardinals. No, boys, I think that's it.
Adolis Garcia, he's got 4.
He's not on my top 5 list here.
Adolis Garcia.
They're tied for. They're tied.
By the way, Garcia must have a heck of a trainer. He just put on some weight in the offseason, man.
He's ripped to what, man.
I mean, that's a big difference.
You got to do back day. Don't skip back day.
It's special vitamins, I think.
Yeah.
Don't skip any day.
No. Shouldn't.
Especially leg day.
Be careful.
Yeah, just shut your mouth right now, Jamie. And I'm only saying that because I care about you. Shut your mouth.
Be careful. You don't pull a muscle, man.
Yes.
That was your problem.
Thank you.
Shut your mouth.
I will not for what you're doing.
I didn't do anything.
It's Robert Thomas, the best blues forward of the 21st century. Jamie will tell you next on 101 ESPN. Speaking of legends, R&R Tire Express, baby. They're legends. Right now, it's never been easier to get the tires that you need and the wheels that you want, because through April 15th, and we're a couple of days away from that, so you want to hop on this, you can request a quick quote, and R&R will pay half your first month's payment. That's half your first month's payment. And when R&R says quick quote, they do mean quick. We're talking about 60 seconds tops, and you can simply submit your contact info, vehicle year, make, and model on rnrtires.com. Again, rnrtires.com to secure your half-off offer today. And don't worry, requesting a quick quote, there's no commitment in terms of that inquiry. R&R Tire Express offers flexible payment options. Everyone's approved, no credit needed. Plus, you're going to enjoy that peace of mind coverage that includes free tire installation, free rotations, free flat repair, and more. You can let the R&R Tire Express team pay half your first month on all in-stock tires and wheels when you request a quick quote. Again, at rnrtires.com. If you want to give them a call, you can do so too. 1-833-ROLL-NOW. 1-833-ROLL-NOW. Do so today. It's R&R Tire Express.
sends it over the line. Bolduc. Then to the near side. Shin with a shot. Slow to the Bloom. The save. Rebound to Thomas. He scores. 83 points on the season for Robert Thomas with a 2-point game. The most points in a season for a Blues player since 2003.
Chris Kerber on the call. Robert Thomas. Is he the best Blues forward of the 21st century? If you hear numbers like that, Jamie, is the answer yes?
So what is technically the 21st century?
That'd be 2000 through now.
Yeah, no, he's not. I mean, Pavel Demitra scored 93 points in 2003.
That's a lot.
Yeah. So he's getting there. He's getting there.
Had the game changed at that point?
No.
It had already changed or it did not change?
No. That means Pavel's getting those points through warfare.
Mm-hmm. All right.
Where you can,
we'll give it to Pavel. Nice to meet you.
Yeah. But here's the positive thing about Robert Thomas is that he's in the discussion.
Mm-hmm.
He's in the discussion. And when you have other guys that have come through your organization, O'Reilly, Perron, Tarasenko, like lots of pretty solid names. Yet here he is in his young career.
Laterra.
Yeah, yep. Little Scarface. But Robert Thomas has eclipsed those guys. Like Vladimir Tarasenko's biggest point total. This is where I go to all the time. You know I do this. Everybody thinks Vladdy was this like McDavid-esque player. His highest point total ever was 82, and that was a couple of years ago.
Mm-hmm.
So, no, he scored some goals.
Good player.
He's a good player.
Yeah.
But let's be real here.
Mm-hmm.
And Robert Thomas is putting up right now 83 points in 79 games, and he's still got 3 more games to go on a team that is a middle-of-the-pack team.
Can I ask you a question about Tarasenko?
Oh, God.
No, I'm serious.
Okay.
If you replace Robert Thomas with Tarasenko.
Right now?
No. Robert Thomas steps into Tarasenko's career at that exact same time.
Yeah.
He gets the NHL cover and all that.
Yeah.
Are we talking about Robert Thomas in the same exact light as Tarasenko?
No.
More so?
No, I think Robert Thomas has a better career.
That's what I'm saying, though.
Yeah.
I wonder if Tarasenko, like what you're saying is, everybody looks at Tarasenko and they think he's we're exaggerating, but he had this epic run with the Blues. How much of that was because that run for the Blues, they were almost starved for a star player at that point. They
were. And look, let's not get anything confused here. Vladdy was an electric player.
Yeah.
He could turn it up at any point and have a highlight reel goal. My opinion or my point on this is not any level of disrespect or negativity towards Vladimir Tarasenko. It's simply fact-based that as dynamic as we think he was, he really didn't put up the points.
Right.
He didn't. And so to your point about the video game cover and starving for a star, I would say my argument would be this. Robert Thomas is in the exact same position right now. Who else is a superstar on this Blues team?
Nobody.
So he's literally almost, this is the Vladdy part 2.0 here, because you don't have another star guy. The closest you'd have that would really well known is Jordan Binnington. But he's the goalie. It's not really apples to apples.
Yep.
But as far as your lineup is concerned, if you said some of these names just around wherever parts in the United States, I wouldn't know who the hell you're talking about. Yep. So that's why I think Robert Thomas now is the star player.
As I'm looking at the points for Blues history, Vladimir is 5th all time.
Well, all time, yeah.
And again, obviously, he had played more years.
How many games?
644. Robert Thomas is at 393.
That's what I'm saying.
He's got a few less games than 200 plus less games than Vladimir. But I think we got so disgruntled with Vladdy because of the end of it that we forget really what he was while he was here. I think people get. The end of it was wanted to be traded, get me out of here, all right, I'll stay, and then he does get traded. I think people tend to remember that aspect of Vladimir Tarasenko than all of the points and the goals that he scored prior to those moments.
Not me.
Not you. Yeah, I know. Not you. You don't count.
But not
Today. Here's why, Kerry. Here's why. Vladimir Tarasenko, in his third year in the NHL, which, by the way, he'd already played 4 years in the KHL. So he didn't come in here as a junior hockey player like Robert Thomas. He didn't come in here as a 19-year-old where you're like, okay, going to kind of hopefully he give us up. No, he had 4 years of professional hockey in, I would say, the second best league in the world when it comes to talent. Then in his first year here, 38 games, 19 points. 43 points his second year. His third year, 77 games, 73 points. Then he has 74 points, 75 points. He never gets to 80.
Right.
And at the time, like 82 games is the point per game, right? So 82 points would be a point per game. He never gets there until 21-22 with the Blues. And he started in 2012, 2013. So that's where I go with it is, yeah, he has all these points, but he also played all these years for the Blues.
Right.
And he put up good numbers. 70 points is nothing to turn your nose up at. A couple of 65-plus point seasons, and then the 82-plus. But that's it. So he had 4 seasons above 70 points.
Mm-hmm. I think Anthony hit it right on the head. Like, the Blues didn't have a superstar on their team. That's why I feel like everybody at the time was like, oh, my gosh, we need this guy. He comes in, first game of his career, scores 2 goals against the hated Red Wings.
Mm-hmm.
You know, that's
like his very first game.
Very first game. Like
star was
we're
born.
like, oh my goodness, this is different because the team at the time, like, they just couldn't really get over the hump. They weren't that good. They had that stretch where they weren't a good team, and so when you had that guy come in, it gave the fan base a jolt and something we hadn't seen in quite some time. So I think that's why people gravitated towards Vladimir Tarasenko, because he scored highlight reel goals. And he was that type of player for the team at the time. But like Jamie said, I mean, he when you really look back at it, he never eclipsed. I mean, David Perron was up there too, almost a point per game in that COVID year.
Yeah.
Like, who knows if they have more games to play that he could have had a season that could have eclipsed Vladdy's best career year. So, you know, right now I think the Blues are in a good shape, though, with Robert Thomas.
Yeah, and again, I have to reemphasize that this isn't a Jamie Rivers doesn't like Vladdy Tarasenko. My opinion, this is not whether I like him or not. My opinion is just fact based upon the production that he gave league-wide. Like, if you look league-wide, he was a good player. He wasn't great. And now in St. Louis Blues history, Robert Thomas has passed him on the chart because he's had more points in his season than him. And Vladdy's highest point season took him till one of the last years here as a Blue.
Right.
So, again, very good player. He was a better goal scorer than Robert Thomas is. There's no doubt about that. He was. But Robert Thomas, I know that Robert Thomas is a better all-around player. The reason I know this is not just the points that he put up that eclipses Vladimir Tarasenko's highest point total. It's situational hockey. And when I have the end of the game that's on the line, Robert Thomas is out there.
Yeah.
If there's a shorthanded opportunity where you need to kill a big penalty, Robert Thomas is out there. Robert Thomas plays against the other team's top forwards in a defensive role. This is how I know he's more of a complete player than what Vladdy was. And that's my only thing. So when you look back, and we go all the way back to Pavel Demitra wasn't a very big guy, but he played hard, extremely hard. He was a good goal scorer, a good playmaker. He never gave up on pucks. He competed. He was a really good all-around player. And so now to be Robert Thomas and to be in company with that is really good.
That's Jamie Rivers, Carey Davis, Andrew Marsh, Anthony Stalter. We'll get the Gauntlet next. Looking forward to going down to the Missouri Athletic Club downtown next week for the College Basketball Writers Association's Awards. It's one of my favorite broadcasts that we do. The downtown location for the Missouri Athletic Club, man, it's a historic building. The events are always fantastic, and that's one fun night. When it comes to the West Clubhouse, because they got two different clubhouses with the Missouri Athletic Club, that's where I get my workout in. It's kind of right off 270, so a lot of times I'll prep for the show, come on in, we'll talk to the guys. Just a perfect spot to kind of get everything that I need to get done when it comes to like family events and things like that too. Love participating in that. Different brunches throughout the course of the year. They usually have one event each month for the family to partake in, whether it's a Saturday or a weeknight. They're always doing it right at the Missouri Athletic Club. That's Miami C.
Four warriors, four categories, one challenger. Can you master the Gauntlet?
The Gauntlet is powered by Master, your hometown source for business communications for more than 30 years. Visit mastor.com.
Let's welcome in Mike to the fast lane where he's going to participate in the Gauntlet today. It's 4:07. Your time check brought to you by Clarkson Jewelers, an officially licensed Rolex jeweler. What's up, Mike?
Hey, how's it going?
Doing great, my friend. Who would you like to take on today between Andrew Marsh, Kerry Davis, Jamie Rivers, or me? Who would you like to battle?
Give me Kerry Davis.
All right, Mike.
Kerry Davis up again.
Good luck.
There you have it.
See you all shortly.
All right, so Kerry's going to make his way into the cone of silence. Mike, go ahead. Tell Marsh to spin that wheel.
Spin that wheel.
Mike, what are we hoping for, man?
I think random.
You're hoping for random. Okay. Random's come up a lot, I feel. Maybe that was just me yesterday. What do we got there, Marsh?
We have baseball today.
Baseball. Mike, how do you feel about baseball?
I'm feeling all right. I'll give it a go.
Okay. All right. Well, Mike, this is how we play. You're going to get 4 questions, all baseball related. Kerry's going to get the same 4 questions today. Each question is worth 2 points. Unless you ask for the options, those questions then become worth 1 point. Sound good?
Sounds good to me. Let's do it.
All right, Mike, let's do this. Question number 1. The soon-to-be Sacramento-bound A's are off to a 1-6 start this season. Actually, they just won today, so this might need to be updated. As recently as 2020, the team... as recently as 2020, though, the team did win the AL West. Who managed that 2020 A's squad?
Ooh. I'm definitely going to need the options.
Mark Kotsay, Ken Maka, or Bob Melvin?
I'll go with Bob Meldon.
Final answer?
Final answer.
All right, Mike. Question number 2. Before nabbing the Marlins managerial job, Skip Schumacher played 11 major league seasons. But where did the former Cardinal play his college baseball?
Oh. Give me the option.
All right. Was it Arizona, UC Santa Barbara, or St. Mary's?
UC Santa Barbara. Final answer.
Question number 3. Catcher Ivan Herrera homered in the Cardinals' home opener after leaving the yard 10 times for the 2023 Memphis Redbirds. Who led last year's Memphis club in home runs?
Give me the options again.
Options are Moises Gomez, Lucan Baker, or Juan Yepes.
I'll go Lucan Baker. Final answer.
All right, my question 4. Happy belated birthday to Hall of Famer Scott Rowland. The Indiana native suited up for how many different franchises during his career?
I'm going to go with 3. Final answer.
All right. Okay, we'll bring back Carey Davis from the Cone of Silence. Mike, how you feeling?
I'm feeling all right.
Well, that's good.
Yeah.
Carey's making his way back in from the Cone of Silence right now. He's got his coffee in hand. Wait a second. I was about to say, we had a conversation about this yesterday.
What happened?
Well, Carey was told by the doctors after not having a voice for 9 weeks to avoid the caffeine.
Don't drink coffee. That's the first thing they said to me when I started losing my don't drink coffee.
Hate it here.
Drink tea.
Yay.
Tea's got some caffeine in it.
You got to get the one without caffeine.
Son of
no.
Why would you have no caffeine?
Well, I'm telling you what the doctor told me. Angry.
Without the,
no. Not great.
Carey, I noticed that you got your
Not
tea.
doing that.
No.
Did you pack a lunch?
Yeah, I ate it already. There it is.
Wow. All right, Carey, you have baseball today.
Wow.
Baseball is your category.
Baseball.
Are you ready?
I'm ready.
Question 1. The soon-to-be Sacramento-bound A's are off to a 1-6 start this season, although they did win today, so that needs to be updated. As recently as 2020, though, the team did win the AL West. Who managed that squad?
2020?
Yep.
Yeah, give me options. Man.
Mark Kotsay, Ken Maka, or Bob Melvin?
Those other two are, let's go Bob Melvin, final answer.
All right. Those other two are human beings,
All
is what
right.
you're going to say.
Yep.
Makes sense.
Just hadn't heard their names.
Question 2. Before nabbing the Marlins managerial job, Skip Schumacher played 11 major league seasons. But where did the former Cardinal play his college baseball? Those are always fun.
Where did Skip play college baseball? I feel like an Arizona State kind of guy. Definitely not a Vanderbilt. Give me the options.
All right, was it Arizona, UC Santa Barbara, or St. Mary's?
Okay. St. Mary's? Or I don't think it was Arizona. UC Santa Barbara, you say? Is that one of the options?
Yep.
Let's go with that one. Final answer.
Question number 3. Catcher Ivan Herrera homered in the Cardinals home opener after leaving the yard 10 times for the 2023 Memphis Redbirds. Who led last year's Memphis club in home runs?
Oh, was it Luke and Baker? It had to be Luke and Baker. Didn't he have a... Was it him? Yeah, give me Luke and Baker. Final answer.
All right, Carey, question number 4. Happy belated birthday to Hall of Famer Scott Rowland. The Indiana native suited up for how many different franchises during his career?
Oh, man. Philly, Cardinals. I feel like it was 3. I don't know why. I feel like a Blue Jays or something. Give me 3. Final answer.
3. All right. Let's go over these. Carey versus Mike in baseball. Let's start there. Happy belated birthday to Hall of Famer Scott Rowland. The Indiana native suited up for how many different franchises during his career? Mike, you said 3. Carey, you said 3. Correct answer is...
Not 3. It's 4.
4.
Carey, you were right.
Blue Jays?
The Blue Jays were in there.
I knew it.
The Reds, the Phillies, and the Cardinals.
I think a lot of people wouldn't remember the Blue Jays.
That would be my thing.
Blue Jays. I couldn't remember.
For some reason, yeah, Reds were right after the Cards.
He's from Cincinnati, too.
Yeah, Indiana.
Yeah.
There you go. No,
Cincinnati.
No, Cincinnati's in Ohio.
Is he really from Cincinnati?
Yeah.
Wait. Isn't he from Cincinnati?
He's from Indiana.
Is he?
Yeah.
Why did you
Indiana
say yes,
native.
Cincinnati?
Well, but you could see half my brain after shutting off, turned back on, was like, no, Ohio. Anyways,
I think you're lying.
Cincinnati is in Ohio. The Indiana native, Scott Rowland,
He was born in Indiana.
was born in Indiana.
That's what I said.
Paul Gorman is actually
Paul
from
Gorman.
Gorman is from Cincinnati.
Yeah.
Cincinnati, Indiana.
There you go.
Okay, here we go. 0-0 tie between Mike and Carey. The soon-to-be Sacramento-bound A's are off to a 1-6 start this season. As recently as 2020, though, the team did win the AL West. Who managed that squad? Mike, you said Bob Melvin. Carey, you said Bob Melvin. Correct answer is...
Bob Melvin.
Both of you needed the options, so we have a 1-1 tie. Before nabbing the Marlins managerial job, his brother Scott Schumacher. Scott Rowland, Skip Schumacher, played 11 major league seasons. But where did the former Cardinal play his college baseball? Mike, you said UC Santa Barbara. Carey, you also said UC Santa Barbara. Correct answer is...
UC Santa Barbara.
Both of you needed the options. So we have a 2-2 tie.
All right.
Catcher Ivan Herrera homered in the Cardinals home opener after leaving the yard 10 times for the 2023 Memphis Redbirds, who led last year's Memphis club in round trippers. You both said Luke and Baker.
How about that?
Correct answer is...
It's Luke and Baker.
That's correct. Absolutely. But Carey didn't need the options. Mike.
You have chosen poorly.
You lose.
You sneaky.
You touched right the old tiebreaker, the old walk-off. Mike, that one got you, essentially, 4-3. You had the identical answers all the way down, including 3 for the last answer. But Carey,
Yeah, you got me.
Yeah, Carey didn't need the options for Luke and Baker, man. Sorry, that was a tough one. But thanks for listening. Thanks for playing.
No worries. Thanks for having me on.
Appreciate you, Mike. Thank you. Nice job. Nice job, Carey.
Luke and Baker.
Oh, Luke and Baker.
Home run Baker.
Oh, Luke and home run Baker.
Don't get zapped over there.
Scotty, Skip Schumacher, and Cincinnati, Indiana. I think we covered it all there, boys. I think we covered
Cincinnati.
it.
Yeah.
all.
Yes. No. Yes.
I was like, yeah, no. Midwest, yes. Not the same state. All right. So Marsh, when we were doing our pre-show meeting, he goes, I got something that's going to make you laugh, but I got the numbers to back it up. It's about a Cardinals pitcher. We'll tell you who it is next on 101 ESPN.
With over 2 decades of family ownership and operation, my friends over at E&B Granite have been the trusted name in renovations for kitchens, bathrooms, and outdoor spaces. Best thing about E&B Granite is they offer an extensive selection of custom countertops. They've got custom cabinets. They got flooring that caters to all different kinds of tastes. They've got a variety of colors, patterns, styles. All of those are guaranteed to bring new life to whatever space it is that you're renovating. And E&B Granite, they're backed by a skilled team of professional fabricators. Their installers are fantastic. Their in-house staff, design staff, is awesome. They're the ones that really make it work, and they're the ones that really helped me with my renovation of my kitchen. Is when I went in there, I walked in at 6135 Manchester Avenue. I didn't really know what I was going to do with my kitchen. And the design staff sat down with me, explained some things, and showed me some different cabinets. And then I got to see all of the countertops in the back. I got to see the patterns that I liked. It was an awesome experience, and I want the same thing for you. So please get down there and see them all in person. Tell them Jamie Rivers sent you in. But if you can't, or you just would like to book an appointment, call them at 314-645-9300. Again, that number is 314-645-9300, or you can always visit them at embgranite.com.
It's Fastlane on 101 ESPN. Kerry Davis, Jamie Rivers, Anthony Stalter, and our guy Andrew Marsh came into the office today and said, "Boys, I'm going to pitch something. I'm going to pitch a topic idea that's going to make you laugh, but I got the numbers to back it up." So without further ado, Andrew Marsh.
So here's the question, gentlemen. Can Steven Matz be a number 2 for the Cardinals? If he stays healthy, of course.
He might be their number 1 right now, healthy.
Boy, you better have some numbers to back that up, Marsh. Right. You sick son of a...
This is from Cardinals Stats and Facts. I love that account. Steven Matz, since moving back into the rotation July 9th, of 2023. 49 innings pitched. He has 9 starts with a 1.84 ERA, 2.92 FIP, a 1.8 walks per 9. He's given up 2 earned or less in 8 of the 9 starts. And it says he's been sneaky great lately when healthy.
Sneaky great.
Arm emoji.
Wow. Is that the Winter Soldier arm?
No. Let's slow down now. He's not the Winter Soldier.
Are you kidding me right now?
I was just wondering. I wasn't sure. I know we had talked about it, and you learned about it.
Steven Matz should not be in the same sentence as the Winter Soldier. Come on.
Just check it.
Jamie. I mean, can you believe this guy?
I didn't hear your discussion about it.
Boy, oh boy. That's just pathetic. No, yeah, when this guy's healthy, he's been very good. The problem has been health, obviously. Can he be the second best pitcher for the Cardinals? Yeah, I think he'd be in that conversation. Miles Michaelis has got back-to-back good starts. When Miles Michaelis is on, Miles Michaelis is very steady for you. So I think the bigger question, if we want to expand this, is assuming Sonny Gray consistently pitches like a number 1, are the Cardinals in good shape if Miles Michaelis, the good version of Miles Michaelis, usually shows up every 5 days and Steven Matz stays healthy? Yeah. Could you win with that top 3?
Win what? Define win.
We never go beyond the NL Central.
Okay.
Ever.
If Sonny Gray's going like he was in his first game, which was pretty darn impressive, and you've got Steven Matz and Miles Michaelis that are pitching the way they should be, why wouldn't you be able to win? I mean, really, why wouldn't you? You got Kyle Gibson had the one bad game, but he also had a really good game.
Really good game.
And his one bad game, he ended up having 4 pretty good innings following the blow-up. 5, really. He gave up 1 run in the second. So I'm confident that Gibby, more often than not, is going to give me good innings. Lance Lynn, I don't know what yet. I don't. I look at him.
Get him out of the rain one game and see how he performs.
That's why I'm saying I'm not ready to judge one way or the other. He's had some tough conditions to pitch under in his first 2 starts, so we'll see. It's obvious he's got strikeout stuff because he gets guys swinging and missing, but it's still obvious that he gives up the long ball, too.
Yeah.
So that to be determined, but you really only need those 3 guys, and if Gibby can give you good starts, too, I mean, your chances increase substantially to be a winning team.
I mean, looking at this right now, I mean, obviously – Sonny Gray is your ace. Your number 1, as Anthony likes to say.
He's our ace.
He's our ace. Based on
it's not the
performance.
ace of spades. It's like the ace of diamonds.
It's not I like that.
An ace.
Yeah.
You can play
ace,
it.
just not quite as sexy.
Probably not. But either way, he's our ace. And so when you're looking at this, Miles Michaelis, he scares me a little bit. Lance Lynn, again, we haven't seen enough, I think, because of the performances in the rain. 1 got shut down. Last game was...
I think we've seen enough of Lance Lynn. I think we know what he is.
I'm trying to give him the benefit of the doubt.
That doesn't mean it's bad. It's just we know what he is.
Okay, well, Anthony has seen
3
enough
good
of
innings, 3 or 4 good innings, 1 bad inning. Just how bad is it going to be? Right?
Yeah.
That's Lance Lynn.
Well, last game he gave up a couple of runs, but they were unearned. They were on errors. It wasn't his fault.
He battled.
He pitched.
Yep. Gave him a chance to win.
I mean, looking at this starting rotation, who else would you say is the number 2? I mean, if Steven Matz can stay healthy, I think that's been the question, you know, as long as he's been here for sure. Can he stay healthy, and will he perform at the level that he was paid to perform at?
Yeah.
I think last year he did. You talked about it when he came back from the bullpen. He performed really well. He wasn't good when he got sent to the bullpen, but when he came back, he performed really well. Then he got injured. And so if Steven Matz can start 25 to 28 games for you, I would assume that he is your number 2 pitcher right now, because I don't know. He's probably not going to give you 6, 7, 8 innings every start. Probably hover around 5 1/3, 5 2/3. But he is right now looking like the best option behind Sonny Gray.
I think so too. I think it's Sonny Gray. Based on the small sample size, I think it's Sonny Gray. I think it's Steven Matz. I think it's Miles Michaelis, and then you got Kyle Gibson and Lance Lynn. That's how your rotation sets up. They've been mostly competitive, and we may get the text like, "Whoa, is competitive good enough?" Based on what the expectations were coming into the year, yeah. Are you in more games or not because you're starting pitchers?
Yeah, and some of the games that you've lost, it's not because of the pitching.
No,
some of you put up no runs.
You're right.
So. Miles Michaelis goes out last game and pitches a really good game, gets no run support.
Right.
So that's not attributed to the rotation at that point.
No, I agree. The numbers so far too for Steven Matz. I mean, they match up. He's got 10 and a third, and he's really, they've kind of babied him a little bit too. So at some point, he'll be allowed to pitch deeper and deeper into games. But he's got a 1.74 ERA. While the FIP is fielding independent percentage, so that's like your advanced metric, but you read it just like ERA, right? Like forget everything that goes into it. It's the same as ERA, 3.21. So it's a bit of a drop, but if I were to say to you, Steven Matz's ERA is 3.21, you'd be good with that, right? So the FIP works. The xFIP it's a little higher at 4.46. Other than that, I mean, you like what you're seeing. Ground ball rate solid. He's not giving up any home runs. If you want to go real deep with it, he's missing barrels. That's something that Giovanni Gallegos, I know we're talking about starters, but Giovanni Gallegos is hitting barrels. Giovanni Gallegos, from a bullpen standpoint, is a concern. Besides that, I mean, the Cardinals have done a nice job here. Kittredge has been great. Matt's excellent. I think Matthew Liberatore has been pretty good thus far overall. Helsley, he's had a couple of shaky performances, but Ryan Helsley has mostly been good. Jojo Romero, Carey, your guy.
My guy.
He has pitched well. I think if you look at this pitching staff as a whole, Jamie.
Thank you.
You look at it, and, I mean, so far so good.
Yeah.
Better than expectations.
Yeah. The question is going to be, being as though they're older, like how long is it going to last an entire season? Can it last an entire season
Absolutely.
without people getting? I don't think you meant that.
I did.
I don't think so. Without
I'm looking you right in the face.
You're not.
I did. I meant.
Not eye contact.
That was not at all.
Hey, I'm looking right at you. I meant what I said, Carey.
As the season wears on, you get it gets hotter, it gets warmer. How are they going to perform?
Goldie's back.
Well, the hitting will be back and the pitching will be done. All right. No. That's what Jamie just said. Yeah.
Come on, man.
He's not. Is he wrong?
I'm not wrong. Then when October comes around,
it's cold again.
Yeah, it's cold again.
Let me run through this just real quick, right? Yeah. You gave up 7 runs to the Dodgers in the first game, six runs to the Dodgers in the second game. Not great. 5. Then you gave up 4 to end the series. So, all right. Against the Padres, 2, 2, 3. Those were the run totals there. Against the Marlins. And yeah, it's a light hitting Marlins team, but nonetheless, 5, 1, and then you had the blow-up game of 10. The Phillies, 5 in extras because you battled back. You shut them out in the second game. That was the game that Gray pitched, and you gave up 4. This pitching staff, for the most part, has kept you in games. Jamie, I agree with you. It's been the offense that has let you down at times. Our Sports Six-Pack is next. So, Marsh, not crazy with your idea there about Steven Matz being number 2.
No.
Yeah.
Well done, Andrew.
Thank you.
Solid number 2 there, Marsh. Good idea.
It's always helpful.
Air Comfort Service text line, 314-399-9646. Solid, not.
Jordan Hicks could have been a number 2.
Okay.
Well, would he have been solid, though?
This has been a nice.
I think so.
This has been a nice, optimistic, positive segment.
We tried.
And there you go. He's got to bring up Jordan Hicks' 1.00 ERA and 0.83 WHIP.
Thanks, Carey. Sorry.
Six-pack next.
101 ESPN Sports Center.
I'm Andrew Marsh. It's time for a Sports Center update driven by Johnny Londoff Chevrolet and Johnny Londoff Autoplex. The Blues win 5-2 over the Chicago Blackhawks last night. They are now 3 points out of that final wild card spot with 3 games left to play. We talked a little bit about that with Chris Kerber, voice of the Blues right here on the Blues Radio Network. If you missed that interview, make sure you go to 101ESPN.com or check out the free 101 mobile app. Just head to the podcast page. It's all brought to you by Dobbs Tire and Auto Centers. The Blues will take on the Carolina Hurricanes tomorrow. Pregame starts at 6. Puck drop is at 7. Also tomorrow, Steven Matz will take the mound for the Cardinals, going up against Brandon Pfaadt and the Arizona Diamondbacks. First pitch is at 8:40. We'll also talk with Travis Feeney, linebacker of your St. Louis Battlehawks, coming up at 5 o'clock, so stay tuned for that. But coming up next, we have our Sports Six-Pack. So if you have a question you want to send to us, do so using the Air Comfort Service text line, 314-399-9646. Sports Six-Pack coming up next. I'm Andrew Marsh, and this Sports Center update is driven by Johnny Londoff Chevrolet and Johnny Londoff Autoplex. See them at londoff.com. Chevy, together we drive. Are you kidding me?
It's time for the Fast Lane to answer your sports questions.
I want to ask you a bunch of questions, and I want to have them answered immediately.
Asking me all these weird questions.
Answer the question.
Answer the question.
Answer me!
The Sports Six-Pack is now.
It's the Fast Lane on 101 ESPN. Jamie Rivers, Kerry Davis, Anthony Stalter, Andrew Marsh with your questions via the Air Comfort Service text line.
Question number 1.
All right, guys, this is not a question, but from the 618, I just wanted to circle back from the other day. I am the coach that had a problem with the little kid cussing. Oh. In case you're curious, the word he uses is the S word.
Oh, boy.
He's a good
Stalter?
kid. No, not Stalter.
We don't say that word around here.
You play like Stalter.
So well? Or?
He's a good kid, just has some issues with language. I'm going to discuss playing time with him and let him know that if it doesn't stop, I will bring his parents into the conversation. I think that will do the trick. Thanks again for your advice, guys. Keep up the good work. If I had to bet, I think the next made-up baseball name player Anthony will mention is Alan Pujols.
Probably.
That's one last bit of advice for our texter. I'd bring the parents in right away to the discussion.
Yeah.
If it's a young kid like that, you want to make sure that you always have the parents there. They don't have to participate in the conversation. They just hear it, because then what happens is parents then hear the exact words that you're using, what you're describing, and then they also understand what the repercussions will be. Because I've had parents before, and I made this mistake when I started doing camps early, is doing that, talking to kids, and then the parents come by, well, why didn't you talk to us first? The kid's 6 years old. Do you think he really understands what you're...
Right, yeah, that's a good point.
Or why did you say this to my kid? I'm like, whoa, I never said, well, that's what he said, you said this. It's not that kids are trying to start problems, but they don't really listen sometimes, or they just kind of, I don't know, he said this.
Right.
So my advice ultimately be have the parents there to be a part of the meeting without participation, but understanding what you're communicating to the kid.
I think that's great advice. You also may be surprised that about, the parent may say to you, hey, if I say it to him, he just doesn't get it.
Correct.
You, the coach, coming in saying it. I did not have the same situation where there was a situation on Tuesday night where one of our really good players, he's a great kid. He gets frustrated anytime his flag gets pulled because he wants to score every single time. So he slammed the football down once, and his dad, who's assistant coach, said something, hey, don't do that. Did it again, and then his dad started walking over. I said, hey, I got him. So I pulled him aside. I said, hey, you were our best player. You're going to get kicked out of the game. I can't have that. You're one of our leaders. Can you keep I know you're fired up. I know you want to win. Can you keep your emotions in check? And
like that kid already.
Yeah, man. He's a great kid, really good player. And he goes, yeah, okay. And he was cool the rest of practice. Yeah. But I went up to him. I had you in mind, Jamie. I went up to his dad afterwards. I said, this is exactly what I said to him. He goes, okay, great. He goes, he's going to listen to you more than me because he hears it.
I had to do that with Big Hoss.
Yeah.
So Kerry, I coached both my boys playing hockey. And Braden, my one boy, he was receptive to the coaching and whatever. But Big Haas always pushed back. And it's because I was dad, too. And was I a little hard on him at times? Yeah, because he had a ton of ability. He was a really good player. He's a big kid. I saw a lot of potential. And I would just get so pissed off at him.
Yeah.
And I would, go to coach him, and then he'd be like, well, yeah, but... And I'm like, just shut up. I'm like, one, I know what I'm telling you. Two, I'm the damn coach.
Right.
So finally, and this is funny, a great guy is Doc McKenzie. He was our assistant coach, but he never played hockey, whatever. Finally, I started going through him. I said, here's what you're going to do. I'm going to tell you what to say to him, and you're going to coach him from now on. And that's what happened. So whoever my assistant coaches were at that point, I would tell them, hey, you need to tell Ashton this. And they'd go grab me, and he'd go, okay, coach, oh yeah, that's great. But it's so weird, right?
It's coming from a parent, it's a little different sometimes.
It is crazy, though. Wow, I have got so much patience for all the other kids. Killian was laying on the ground for missing the flag the other day, right? And he's laying on the ground, and he's theatrics over. I'm like, get up. And he's like, I got hurt. I'm like, well, then go get a drink. And I hear him he's walking.
Soccer.
Yeah. He's walking off the field. Right? I'm texting. I hear Kristen, my wife. She goes, "Good job, Killian." I'm like, maybe I was a little hard.
Here's what it is. I'm going to give you some advice live on the air right now, and I'm going to be an open book because I actually think I ended up being a little too hard on my boys.
Yeah.
And I think that as they got older, I saw more potential. They were playing at the highest level, and I knew, I know what it takes.
Right.
To get to the next level and the next level. And I kept driving them to that spot. I wish now in hindsight I would have backed off the throttle a little bit and let them enjoy playing a little bit more. And I always took it personal, which is weird. And you'll understand what I'm saying. When my kids screwed up or they did the wrong thing or they made a bad play, I felt like that's my fault. They should be better because I know better.
Right.
And they should be better players because I tell them what. Right. Meanwhile, they're making the same damn mistakes as every other kid out there. But
They're
I'm
learning.
Taking it personal because it's my kid.
Yeah.
It's like an extra bit of stress on the coach's kid, So that would be my advice is, one, don't take it personal.
Yeah.
Don't be extra hard on your kid just because you're like, well, that's my kid. He's just another player on your team. You do the best you can. I did get to a point where I was like, I'm coach at the rink, and the moment we get in the car, I'm dad.
Yeah.
That way we can just kind of try to set, but it was very difficult nonetheless.
Question number 2.
This one comes from Carrot. Rank the major sport league playoffs from coolest to lamest.
The playoffs from coolest to lamest.
Top major 4, right?
Yeah. I'd go...
NHL is probably...
NFL, NHL.
No.
I think the NHL is the
MLB's number
I wasn't going to say
NBA.
It's a different level. Playoff hockey is just... It's like
It's
a different
awesome.
animal.
I got it
NFL, I would have.
NFL, one of the reasons I'd give NFL over the NHL, I know the NHL is a gauntlet. The cup, to win a cup is the most difficult trophy to win in all sports. The only reason from a fan perspective, though, you lose one game in the NFL, you're done. That's it. Your season's over.
Yeah, but I don't know that. I think you know who's going to win for the most part until you get to the championship games. You know.
Is that why you and I had the Ravens?
Dallas Cowboys.
Is that why you and I had the Ravens?
Until you get to the championship game, we both picked the Super Bowl participants because we knew.
We didn't, though. We had the Ravens.
No. Oh, we did have the Ravens.
Yeah. You don't know anything.
We had the Ravens in the AFC Championship game.
We're idiots.
Until you get to the championship game. You pretty much know. Unless you're the Packers going into Dallas and you just don't show up.
Yeah, that was a surprise. Cleveland beating Houston was technically an upset.
I don't think there's any other sport that even in the very first round of the playoffs that even from a viewer standpoint, you're watching the intensity in the Stanley Cup playoffs. It's just another level. Now, if we go for the championship itself, the Super Bowl might be the most dramatic game just because it's like the Game 7 for the NHL. It's when you win. If you lose, you're done. So I think that for me, it's a combination of the NFL and the NHL. Major League Baseball is fine.
I think that's last.
Basketball is whatever. I don't really watch it, so whatever.
Yeah.
But when I look at the NHL, I think the 4 out of 7, the grind, all that is such a dramatic piece of viewing where you're like, man, these guys are beat up. But then for the NFL, to your point, Anthony, the one and done, that also has a certain dramatic flair to it as well. I like both formats very much.
Yeah.
I think baseball is better than basketball.
Oh, yeah.
I think baseball is dead last.
I mean, no.
I wouldn't say that. No, because you got the wild card.
Of the final, of the four major
You got the
sports.
play-in in the NBA.
I mean, I would
That's
go hockey, basketball, football, baseball.
Do you know I'll give baseball ahead of NBA? One key reason, and it's the most underrated aspect in sports. Day playoff games early on.
Now, those are pretty cool.
Hockey has that too. So does the NBA.
Yeah,
NBA doesn't have.
Yeah, they do on the weekends.
No, he talking about.
You're talking about weekdays.
Weekdays,
Yeah.
which is pretty cool.
Weekday.
No, that is that does. That's
Right?
a game changer.
It's a swing.
Huh? Not really.
I just.
We're all in agreement, boys. Way to go. NFL, NHL, MLB, NBA.
I don't think that's
We'll
the order.
continue our sports picks back.
You're being a real
Next.
piece of Stalter right now.
In the Fast Lane on 101 ESPN.
Full of Stalter.
Hey, it's Carey, and I need to tell you about my good friends over at Scrap Mart Metals. If you're a contractor, own your own business that needs recycling, well, you need to learn about Scrap Mart Metals. They are tailor-made for your business to meet your schedule and budget. They understand the job site cleanup for contractors is a mess, and will help you set up an account with Scrap Mart to recycle that metal. It's one less thing you need to do during cleanup. You'd be amazed at how scrap metals add up and can truly help your business's cash flow. If you own heavy equipment, you know at some point it's frustrating. It's going to break down, and you're going to have to repair it, and then it will eventually break down where no repairs are needed, and you have to get rid of it. You can haul that equipment to one of their convenient locations at Valley Park, Peevely, or Jonesburg, or Scrap Mart Metal will come and haul it away themselves and take it to one of their locations and get you a check the same day. If it's metal, they buy it. Copper wire, brass, stainless steel, aluminum, batteries, electric motors, steel, cast iron, and much more. It's recycling made easy. Just go to scrapmartmetals.com. Talk to my guy Lucas. He can talk to you about setting up a business account and get you rolling. That's scrapmartmetals.com, and tell him Carey sent you.
time for the Fast Lane to answer your sports questions.
I want to ask you a bunch of questions, and I want to have them answered immediately.
Asking me all these weird questions.
Answer the question.
Answer the question.
Answer me!
The Sports Six-Pack is now.
All right, we'll get through at least one more question here before we head to another break, because we have our Battlehawk interview of the week, and it's going to be Travis Feeney, defender. So we'll talk to the defenseman. Top of the hour. Marsh, question 3, please.
Question number 3.
From the 314, which do you think would benefit from a demotion? Jordan Walker or Victor Scott?
Victor Scott.
I don't want to call it a demotion.
Yeah.
What would you call it?
Repurposing.
An opportunity to get better.
What did you repurposing?
Repurposing.
What is he, a piece of lumber?
Just getting.
I repurposed this old kitchen countertop. Now it's a dining room table.
Look at it.
Get yourself an opportunity. Be a little bit better.
Kerry's going to repurpose him. He's going to have him in the stands. Hey, I got your hot dog here.
No, demotion sounds really harsh.
It also sounds real.
Yeah,
it's a promotion to AAA. It hasn't been to AAA yet.
Demotion. You're sending them down.
Why are you so soft with this guy?
I don't know.
Everybody else carries hardcore.
Soft on this guy.
Because they're young men that are fighting their butts off.
Coddling this young man.
You said both of them, either or.
Yeah.
Like, I'm fighting for these guys.
Well, I didn't say you weren't fighting for him.
Yeah,
you don't have to get
but I do think I think it'll be
super
I think it'll be
soft
Victor
about
Scott. No, I think it'll be Victor Scott. I think eventually facing some AAA pitching, getting some confidence back will do him good. Jordan Walker, I think eventually will start hitting Major League pitching as he did last year. But I think Victor Scott, just whether it's a month or whether it's a month and a half, 2 months, whatever, if it's 2 or 3 weeks, if an injury occurs and he has to come back, just getting some confidence is going to, bode well for him, because he is, it's frustrating when you're not hitting or not having success.
And based on what you said there, it's exactly what I'm thinking is Jordan Walker has had a certain level of success in the majors already. He hasn't been an all-star or anything like that, but he still had a good level of success last year for a first-year player.
Yeah.
Victor Scott has not had that level of success. And so get him down to AAA, let him have a nice level of success there, and so when he comes back, he's a better player.
Question number 4.
From 314, do you think the Blues lost their culture/identity when we lost Bobby? They just don't seem the same since.
I won't dispute that. Bobby Plager was a massive part of this organization. He was here from day one. Bobby was always in the locker room. He's always talking to the boys, telling stories. There's definitely a glue that was involved with Bobby Plager being around. And the young players who didn't know him got to know him quickly, because the veteran players basically filled him in and said, hey, buddy, this is Mr. St. Louis Blue. This is the guy, he's the mafia boss here. He walks around wherever the hell he wants to go, doesn't have to ask permission, does whatever. He'll tell you what to do. He'll tell you how to play the game. Bobby was, you talked to Alexander Steen, you talked to all those guys from the 2019 team that won it. Bobby Plager played a huge part in the development of so many young players. And I don't even mean like on ice and things like that, coaching, just being around these guys, talking to them, having a coffee in the morning, going in. Remember him going in and talking to TJ Oshie and, lighting it up a little bit lighting it up for a little bit, like the guys that are stressed out, the young guys that are gripping the stick.
Sure.
He came in with a coffee, tell a story that was probably hilarious and inappropriate, and then tell the kid to relax, have a good time, but was always like, but make sure when you put that jersey on, you do the logo proud. That's all Bobby ever wanted, is go out there and work hard, which I think Bobby Plager set the culture for all of St. Louis hockey fans. We talk about all the time, these fans love blue-collar players, blue-collar coaches, blue-collar, that is Bobby Plager. So Bobby Plager inadvertently kind of set the bar right across the table for everybody who likes to watch Blues hockey.
Well said, Jamie. Travis Feeney, the Battlehawks, next with us on the Fast Lane on 101 ESPN. Jamie, one of the things that I want to do, and I'm sure you want to do too, and our listeners want to do, is build wealth.
Yes.
We got the guy on the line that's going to help us do that. Stewie, how can you help us and our listeners build wealth?
Well, Anthony, there's a lot of young folks out there that listen to sports radio, so we're going to help them out. They walk around, the customers ask us this all the time. I don't have a lot of money. I'd like to build, some wealth up. How do I do it? I don't want to invest in the casino, which is the stock market. What can I do? Well, there's a simple answer. Buy investment property. But the better bet is to go ahead and buy an investment property that you can live in. So go buy a 4-family unit, live in one of the units, put 5% down, stay in there for a year, then move on to another 5-family unit. All you have to do is put out 5%. You put down 5%, you're creating cash flow. As you know, the real estate market keeps getting bigger and bigger and better and better, and the prices are going through the roof. So you're going to earn some equity. You don't have to pay taxes on that earned equity. You get better cash flow. By the time you get married, your wife says, I don't want to live in a 4-family unit anymore. You now have 4 or 5 properties under the belt, good cash flow. You may not even need a job.
That's great advice from Stewie. And yeah, a lot of our listeners are younger and they are wanting to build their own wealth. So if you're looking to talk to Stewie or you have any other questions regarding anything that's financial or even purchasing a home, give him a call on his personal cell phone number. That cell phone number is 314-324-4440.
314-324-4440.
Or you can always Google the Bagel Loan.
Thanks, Stewie.
NMLS number 226715.
Fastlane on 101 ESPN 502. Your time check brought to you by Clarkson Jewelers, an officially licensed Rolex jeweler with former Blues defenseman Jamie Rivers and Super Bowl champion Carey Davis. I'm Anthony Stalter. Let's head to our 101 ESPN celebrity line. You heard the call coming in. That's because it's our weekly chat with the Battlehawk. We've got linebacker Travis Feeney on the line right now. Travis, thank you so much for joining us. How are you?
Thanks, guys. Go!
Love it. Hey, Travis, we got to ask you, first of all, congrats on the win. That was exciting last Saturday. The Battle Dome was rocking, man. What's your thoughts on St. Louis and the home crowd?
Man, there ain't nothing like it. There ain't nothing like it. It makes me feel like I'm back at Husky Stadium a little bit, man. The loud crowd and everything. I love the energy.
Now, I see that you are a former Washington Husky. Obviously, you all made it to the national championship game. Man, may not have gone the way. Yeah, I know. It's frustrating, right? Didn't go the way that you would have liked. What have you seen from your program and how well you all have been doing lately?
Man, I just see that Husky pride coming back. I see that old nitty-gritty kind of team and the old connection of everybody being really close on that team. It looked like a lot of those guys this year, they're a really close-knit group. A lot of the defensive guys and the offensive guys, they look like they're really bonded together. And that's what I'm used to being as being an alumni, being on the teams that I've been on in the past there.
Travis, since we're talking about teams you played on before, me being the guy from Canada here, I'm going to go back to your time in Toronto in the CFL.
Oh, man.
How'd you like that?
Man, it was interesting.
All right, I see where we're going here.
It was interesting, but nah, man, I had a good time. Made a lot of connections with friends. I have a real good friend that I'm actually good friends with out there now, and he actually came to my Michigan game. Him and my ex-teammate from Toronto came to my Michigan game. So it was a good time. It was a good connection. I still have a lot of teammates that are up there still playing now. It was different. I mean, it was cold. I'll tell you that. Never played in that cold of weather.
Yeah, cold. And then how difficult was it for you going from, the traditional 4 downs and the size of the field and then playing defense on that big field with the different style of game?
Man, I said the big difference was I got moved to defensive end. I literally was an in-box, in the box, outside, depends on what team and what defense I was in. But, man, when I was and then a yard off, that was crazy. And then the whole special teams, everything was it was just a quicker game, or quicker as far as just speed-wise. Not, necessarily fully faster, but just faster as far as, the crazy stuff that can happen. Because if you let one guy beat you outside, you're the field's too wide to really catch back up.
It's got to be faster when they can go in motion and coming downhill at you, and you don't know what the hell is going on.
You're like, man, this dude's 5 yards off the ball and he's sprinting. What are you doing?
Travis Feeney joining us right now, linebacker for the Battlehawks. Travis, going back to your time at Washington, and then you get a phone call from somebody that on draft night, I imagine that you did. You got a phone call from. Did Mike T get you on the line? Because our guy Kerry Davis won a Super Bowl with the Steelers. Of course, he's familiar with Mike Tomlin. How was that experience?
A Steeler great right there. Look at that, he got a ring, man. I wish I could have been there to get one too, man. But what
was it like? What was it like being in camp though with the Steelers, and then I know you had a couple of other stops.
It was great. I had a real great group of guys, and I still have a great connection. He's one of my mentors to this day. My boy Arthur Moats. So I mean, we still connect every year. At least once or twice a year, I connect and call him and chop it up. And I mean, ran into Joey Porter last year, Coach Porter, Coach Peasy last year in the UFL and the XFL, before. But yeah, it was a great time, man. It was a great learning experience. Great group of guys, and just get that taste of just how it is to be a pro. And I think I was able to learn a lot from that organization for sure.
Travis, sticking with, I guess, the head coach theme or mentor theme, whatever. Anthony Becht, what's he like as a coach, and what's he like to play for?
Man, it's good to see. I mean, I've known Coach Becht since 2019. So we were together with the San Diego Fleet in the AAF. So just to see coach's development from being a position coach, tight end coach, and then being now a head coach, it's just crazy to see his growth. I think he's doing a great job, doing an amazing job, and he's getting better just every day as we go on.
Travis,
It's pretty cool to see.
I didn't mean to cut you off. I want to go back real quick because you called him Coach Peasy. I don't know Coach Peasy. I know Peasy, Joey Porter, as a player, as a teammate, but I don't know the Coach Peasy. What was he like as a coach? Because as a player, he was crazy as hell. So what was he like as a coach?
I'm not gonna lie, man. I thought he was going to be crazy, but Coach Peasy's he's kind of calm and collected. Kind of, he's not. He's chill and like he's definitely like you got to make your assignment and do your job. And, he's going to correct you. And then one of his big things I still remember was one of the things was don't make the same mistake. Like, if you make a mistake, it's fine. I'm going to fine you. But I'm going to fine you. But don't make the same mistake, man. Don't make the same mistake. You got to be coachable. You got to do something different. You're doing the same mistake, you're going to be out of here.
Couple more things for Travis Feeney, linebacker for the Battlehawks. Travis, what's it like going up against when you guys do have an opportunity to go against your offense? What's it like going up against A.J. McCarron, who has done a really nice job in his 2 years with the Battlehawks, and of course he spent some time in the NFL. The Bengals wanted him back a year ago when they had a rash of injuries at the quarterback position. What's it like to go up against A.J. McCarron in practice?
Man, you're going against a guy who has experience, a guy who has NFL experience, a guy who started before, he's played a lot of games. He knows the games. He knows the X's and O's. And then you got our O-line. You got our receivers, and honestly, just all around the field weapons. I mean, you're going against an NFL caliber guys every day. So and there's just guys just looking for their shot, looking for the opportunity to get back again. So it's just competitive every day at practice. They'll have a good day. Then we'll have a good day. They'll have a good day. We'll have a good day. We'll have a mixed day. So that's the part that's great. It's just great competition all around, and we just have a great group overall. And then just to have the leadership in that role is amazing right there.
You all heading to San Antonio to take on the San Antonio Brahmas this weekend. What have you seen from them, and what do you expect that game to be like this Sunday?
Man, being an ex-shooter myself, it's just gonna be a dogfight. It's gonna be a real dogfight. You got the storyline of 1 versus 2. So we know it's not gonna be easy match. They're gonna have punches. They're gonna make some plays. So it's just a matter of who's gonna make more plays at the end of the day, and who's gonna stop, who's gonna be able to execute, and who's not gonna get tired. That's the whole thing. You got to not get tired of doing your job. Once one side gets tired of doing their job, that's when the game turns. So it's really going to be on us to stay locked in and consistently not get tired of doing the same thing. Not trying to make a play when we don't got to. Letting our teammate make a play, trusting our teammate to make the play. And that's one thing that we got to really, I think we got to really focus on more is just doing our job, doing our assignment.
Travis, it was announced.
It's going to be a dogfight.
Yeah, sorry, Travis. It was announced earlier this year that the championship game will be held here in St. Louis at the Battle Dome.
Really? Really, at the Battle Dome.
That's right. That's what
we got to get there, man. We got to get there. We owe it to the fans, especially after last year. We owe it to the fans. We owe it to ourselves. We gotta make that happen, and I think we're on a good path to make that happen. We just got to stay consistent. That's the big thing is just consistency. Because I think last year we had some up and down games, and I think that's what it hurt us. So, that's one thing we got to make sure to not allow points, and our offense got to make sure to score a lot of points.
Well, if you don't have a kicker closing his eyes and kicking 64-yard field goals against you, you'd be 2-0 too, Travis.
Dude, broke my heart, man. Broke my heart.
Broke a lot of hearts
At
here.
least he went and did it again after.
Yeah, boy.
He made that first kick, and coach called everybody to the sideline. I didn't even move. I said, dude, this is crazy. He made a 64-yard kick. And he hit the back of the net. I said, wow, he's going to make it again.
Now, Travis,
crazy, man.
I used to live in Detroit. I used to cover the Lions. I think those windows, they got the windows on the one side of the field. I'm pretty sure they were open. I think the wind was blowing.
They had to be, man. They had to be. I'm going to say, I felt a little dry.
Travis, you're a lot of fun, man. We appreciate it. Good luck this weekend, and we'd love to have you back on the show.
Oh, man, thanks for having me. Yeah, anytime, man. Anytime you guys have me. I love you. Love the energy, man. Anytime.
We appreciate it. Thanks, Trav. We'll see you, buddy.
Hey. Go Hawks. Later, guys.
Take care. That's Travis Feeney, linebacker for the Battlehawks. He was a lot of fun, man. He was awesome.
He's awesome, man.
Yeah.
That was great.
He was good. Great stuff.
Good energy. You could tell he loves being a Battlehawk. You can tell he loves Battlehawk Nation.
It was awesome.
That's fun, man. That's
I
good
love
stuff.
when you didn't even get to you didn't set up your question, and he took it, man. He's like, hey, let's do this. We gotta do it for St. Louis. We gotta do it for ourselves to play that championship game here.
Well, that's what I was going to ask him. I was going to say, what would it mean to be here knowing that you've got the Battle Dome at like 43,000 for your opener? Like, that thing will be jam-packed for the title game.
Yeah.
Like, what would that mean for these guys? He took over. He knew where I was going.
Absolutely. I love that we in St. Louis can provide a different atmosphere that you watch that Michigan game. There's barely anybody there. And I hope the league's. This isn't a.
We want the league to stay successful.
Exactly. I want the league to thrive. I want it to be successful. So I'm not saying that I hope it's barren in other spots, but it is cool.
It's different
that they come like the Renegades came here, knowing that the place was going to be packed. It's
Right.
It's a lot of extra juice for the Battlehawks when they play home games.
Absolutely.
All right. It's Fastlane on 101 ESPN. Are we seeing more physicality out of the Blues? I think we are, and Jamie has a very specific reason why. That's next on 101 ESPN.
Well, if you are considering selling your home, it can be stressful. You may not know when to list it. You may not know if there's certain upgrades you should do or things you should update on your home to make sure that it sells quicker. Don't worry about that. Call Gloria Liu with Your Home Sold Guaranteed Realty because she is the best in the business, and she's going to sell your home. She's got thousands of buyers and is in her exclusive database. That creates a higher demand for your property, maybe multiple offers, ultimately more money for you at the end of it all. And Gloria also has amazing options. The one that I love, my favorite, it's called Guaranteed Sales. It's where Gloria sells your home at the agreed upon price, or she buys it herself and she puts all of that in handwriting. So if you're selling your home, there's only one thing left to do. That's pick up the phone, call Gloria Liu, tell her that Jamie Rivers sent you in. That number is 314-325-6888. Again, that's 314-325-6888. Or you can visit GloriaHasTheBuyers.com. Conditions do apply. Gloria and the seller must agree upon the sales price and possession date.
Fastlane on 101 ESPN. Are we seeing more physicality out of the Blues? I would say so over the last couple of games. But Jamie, you had a very specific reason as to why we're seeing more physicality.
Well, you're seeing some of the youth in there. It's a mix of youth and we'll call them blue-collar players. So when you look at, if we're going to keep the youth to the side just for a second here, Nathan Walker and Sammy Blais. You know, Nathan Walker in the lineup full-time, Sammy Blais back in the lineup. And Sammy Blais was healthy scratch for 9 games in a row. Mm-hmm. And so when you bring him back into the game, I mean, he's your busiest hitter. He's the top hitter on the team as far as number of body checks in the season, and he still was healthy scratch for a number of games. So you add those two guys. Nathan Walker is playing with a chip on his shoulder.
Yeah.
He's playing like he hates everybody.
Yeah, he's running. I mean, he's playing like he's mad at the ice.
He's mad at everything. And the best part is he's the nicest dude ever. Like, he loves to laugh and joke and have a good time. Mm-hmm. But he gets out there, and he is just an angry person. And I love it. I'm here for it. And he's keeping other teams on their toes. He's keeping guys aware. And, of course, his other winger, Sammy Blais, who runs around and hits everything. So you got those two guys that being in the lineup on a regular basis, and Drew Bannister rolling 4 lines a little bit more has let that physicality kind of come to the top a little bit. Then you add on defense, Matthew Kessel's a physical guy. He's a big guy. He likes to close players out in the neutral zone and finish his hits. He had a big hit. Him and Torrey Krug did the old Malachi crunch there in the middle of the ice. That guy went flying. And then you got Tyler Tucker, who has been super physical. God, he smoked Bedard. Smoked him. It was a perfectly legal hit. Connor Bedard, you have to figure it out at the NHL level, or that bubble you're wearing is going to be full-time because you're always going to be injured.
Yep.
But Tyler Tucker timed that up right, shoulder to shoulder, and drilled him. And it wasn't the only one. Then, as soon as he drilled him, he threw his mitts out. He knew, someone's coming. The funniest part is Vlasic, who's 6'6", he figured he had to go.
Yeah.
He gets in there, and he got there. And when he turned, when he gets into the whole fray, Tucker's mitts are off, and he's ready to go. And Vlasic's like, I
guess I'm here.
He's like, he dropped one glove and then, held on for dear life. He still had his stick in his hand. I'm like, what are you doing?
Yeah.
But it's that element of, and then of course you have the usual suspects, like Braden Shen is always a physical guy out there.
Yeah.
Colton Parayko has added some sandpaper to his game. He started that before the fight against Klim Kostin, and now I think the big man is realizing that I can be a bit of a bully out here and not have to worry about anything, because who the hell's really going to step up?
Yeah.
He's such a big dude, and now, you see just handful of days ago, he can handle himself just fine.
Right. Yeah, right.
So that's an element of, maybe I'm going to pump the brakes here a little bit. So to me, I think that playing fourth line-ish type players more often and then adding the youth to it, kids that are hungry, that want to play, that want to stay in the lineup, they want to play in the NHL next year. And let's not forget Toropchenko. He runs over everything too.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I mean, he runs over his own players in warm-up. It's unreal. So, to me, that has added...
Hey, they shouldn't have been standing there.
It's their fault. Keep your head up.
Right.
Bottom line. So that, to me, is what I've noticed here in the last, 4 or 5 games.
Do you think that that's what has been missing? Do you think that there was a way that these players could have been brought up sooner and had this same intensity and maybe help shift the narrative or shift the mindset of this team?
Yeah, so in fairness to the organization, the coaching staff in the front office, Tyler Tucker did have a chance. He did. He started the season, and he kind of, I think that last year was a good season for him. Mm-hmm. It kind of got him on the map, and I think that he kind of thought the game was going to just kind of not be easy, but he just had to be solid. Yeah. Didn't have to go above and beyond, didn't have to be overly physical. And he got a wake-up call. And the wake-up call was a lot of healthy scratches. Mm-hmm. And the version I'm seeing now of Tyler Tucker is a guy that's like, I don't want to be in the crowd ever again.
Yeah.
And he's hitting, he's blocking shots, he's fighting, he's playing a solid game, he's playing good defense. So he had an opportunity. Nathan Walker had an opportunity for the last couple of years. He got sent down at the start of the season, whatever the circumstances were there. He's back now. He doesn't ever want to go back to the American Hockey League, and he's telling you exactly how it's going to be because it's an angry little pit bull every friggin' game. Mm-hmm. And Sammy Blais, is this a contract year for him? And Sammy Blais, in fairness again to the team, had a stretch where he's taken a lot of ill-advised penalties in the offensive zone, a late hit or a high stick or an elbow, things that are okay, they're aggressive, but they're not real smart penalties. They're not, we'll call them non-competitive penalties, meaning like you weren't stopping a goal. And whenever you take a penalty in the offensive zone, that's really bad.
Yeah.
You shouldn't have to do that. So in fairness to the team, some of these guys didn't have their game put together the whole season. And now with the opportunity, some may look at it as a last chance, depending on who you are. They're putting their game together, they're playing more physical, and they're doing a better job. But Carey, to the original thought, this team moving forward has to have more of that in the lineup. Like next year's lineup, the roster that you put on the ice has to have more bite to it. And I see all these teams, all the visiting teams, all the teams we play against. I talk to all the players. I talk to their coaches. I talk to their media members. And the narrative around the Blues for a big part of the season was they're really not that hard to play against. And that's not a good thing. You don't want that. And it's not that guys are soft or afraid or unwilling. No, they just weren't that hard to play against. And so I think that moving forward, for Doug Armstrong, he has to find a group of players that are hard to play against. And it doesn't just mean hitting bodies. It means tenacious on the forecheck, tenacious on the back check, blocking shots, all over guys in the defensive zone. Like, you have to make it difficult every game for teams to be like, I don't really want to play against that team.
That's how it was in 19. I mean, I know that's the go-to, but that's exactly what it was.
Well, look at the Nashville Predators. The Nashville Predators are a wild card 1 team. They're hard to play against.
Yeah.
They finish every hit all over the ice, and the guys who don't hit check like crazy. Like Ryan O'Reilly is like a dog on a bone out there. You can't shake him. And Roman Yossi's not a physical guy, but you can't get away from him.
Yeah.
So the Predators are a team that nobody particularly enjoys playing against. You have to get there. As a Blues team, you have to get to that spot.
For me, that's all just a mindset. I mean, you got guys with the talent. It's a will and want to. And we talked about it, I don't know if it was last week or the week before, when we were like bringing guys into the fight, both, literally and theoretically, like just bringing them into the fight to get into it and playing harder, playing tougher, and getting after it and not just giving in when things get down or when things get bad. And I think yesterday, obviously, that's not a great Chicago Blackhawks team, but they punched them in the face. That's what I'm saying. They should have did that against Anthony's San Jose Sharks.
They should have.
They didn't punch him in the face.
Well, they did.
They did.
A couple times.
Well, they didn't finish it.
No.
When you play against teams that you're supposed to beat, I don't think you're going to score 3 goals in the first 3 to 4 minutes of a game every time, but should. It would be very nice. But you should get after them, and they did yesterday to their credit what they should have done and what they should be doing.
In the last few games, that they really have done that. They've gotten off to a good start in the first period. They've gotten good forecheck established and things like that. So you're right. You need that. And you shouldn't be losing to these teams, but also there's a narrative that goes around, not the Blues, but certain teams that are maybe not in the playoffs, the teams, they're shutting it down. They're shutting it down. Well, this goes back to my earlier point in the show where I said I'm excited that we're 3 points out at this point in the season.
Yeah.
Because it means it's meaningful hockey, which means that they're going to compete, and the Blues are competing right now. Nothing I hate more than non-competitive hockey.
Right.
It's just boring. It's terrible. Yeah. I could watch that, no offense to beer leaguers, but I can go watch beer leaguers every night of the week play, quote-unquote non-competitive hockey as far as, not caring.
Do you know why that is, too?
Well, it just means the chemical makeup of that player's not right.
No, it means because legends never die.
I knew.
Never been more true,
actually. It was coming. I saw the look on his face.
I was trying to say it while you were looking down, Carey.
Sorry.
I got to tell, Marsh.
As soon as his face started to glow a little bit.
He's just excited.
He's like,
you know why?
Something stupid's coming. Yeah.
All right.
I got you again, Jamie. I got you again. Biggest question of the day next on 101 ESPN.
Gentlemen, we were talking about sports all the time. We were just having the debate earlier about the best playoffs and how we rank them and all that. Well, nothing is more fun than playoffs for any sport, but it's also a lot of fun when you're using FanDuel, America's #1 sports book. And, Carey, right now, new customers to FanDuel, they get $150 in bonus bets, and it's guaranteed.
Yeah, Jamie, that's $150, win or lose. Bet on everything from slap shots to home runs to slam dunks, all on an app that's safe, secure, super easy to use. And the NHL playoffs are around the corner. Hopefully, the Blues can get in. The NBA playoffs are around the corner. It has been a fantastic time for sports, and you should be dialed in on FanDuel to make your picks.
Yeah, what are you waiting for? Visit FanDuel.com/fast. Again, FanDuel.com/fast, and then you can make your first bet an automatic win with FanDuel, America's #1 sports book. Must be 21 or older and present in Illinois. First online real money wager, only $10 first deposit required. Bonus issued is non-withdrawable bonus bets that expire 7 days after receipt. See terms at sportsbook.fanduel.com. Gambling problem, go 1-800-GAMBLER.
ESPN Sports Center.
I'm Andrew Marsh. It's time for a Sports Center update brought to you by Saliga Heating and Cooling. The Blues won 5-2 over the Chicago Blackhawks last night. They are now 3 points out of that final wild card spot with 3 games left to play. They'll take on the Carolina Hurricanes tomorrow night. Pregame starts at 6. Puck drop is at 7. And you can catch all the action right here on 101 ESPN. Also tomorrow night, Steven Matz will take the mound going up against Brandon Pfaadt and the Arizona Diamondbacks. First pitch for that one is at 8:40. If you missed anything from today's show, including our interviews with Chris Kerber and Battlehawks linebacker Travis Feeney, make sure you go to 101ESPN.com or check out the free 101 mobile app. Just head to the podcast page. You'll find all of our interviews and full shows there, and it's all brought to you by Dobbs Tire and Auto Centers. Coming up after the show, we will have a Blues instant replay from 6 to 7. Coming up next, though, we have our biggest question of the day. I'm Andrew Marsh, and this Sports Center update is brought to you by Saliga Heating and Cooling, an independent American Standard heating and air conditioning dealer.
It's time for the Fast Lane's biggest question of the day.
Time for the biggest question of the day here in the Fast Lane on 101 ESPN. What do you got, Marsh?
All right, so Anthony, I was telling you guys in the office that I was heading to the Blues game last night, and I hopped in an Uber, and my Uber driver and I were talking about the Cardinals, and it was a great drive. And the Uber driver is actually a Cubs fan, but we were just talking baseball.
Oh, what? Did you get right out?
No.
Did you fight him?
Yeah.
I mean,
No.
what happened? You didn't drop the gloves?
I didn't.
Marsh, you stayed in the car
And rode
with
with
the
a Cubs
Uber
fan.
driver who was a Cubs fan.
Yeah.
I think you might have left that part out.
And then you said I had a nice conversation with him.
About baseball, for sure.
With a Cubs fan?
With a Cubs fan.
I
does
don't
that
know
guy
if I've
know?
ever been more disgusted.
Wow. Go ahead with your question.
ahead.
Marsh. Go ahead.
I'll step out of the room. I'll step out of the room.
You should have stepped out of the damn car.
Well, Jamie, I didn't want to be late for the game. It turned out I already was.
You were.
Missed the first 4 goals of the game.
Oh, you mean the first 4 shots?
Yeah.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. But we were talking some baseball, and one of the discussions we were having about Major League Baseball is how they don't market their players correctly. And so the question I have for you guys is, does baseball not want to market its stars because then the owners would have to pay them more money? What do you guys think of this?
Boatload of money.
Yeah, they're
Let me
already
ask
paying the
this.
stars a boatload of money.
Yeah, but
Shohei got 700
$700 million is kind of a lot.
Kind of a lot.
But I think of like Jordan
you gotta
Montgomery, for instance. Like, is he a star? Probably not.
No.
But he's a guy, or Cody Bellinger, like those type of guys. Cody
Yeah.
Bellinger's a star in Major League Baseball.
Is he?
Is he?
He was an MVP.
No, Bellinger.
Bellinger.
No, Izzy's always a star.
Is he? Now we're talking about
He's
Bellinger.
always a star.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
My question is this: does baseball have to market the players? Because, like, when you look at the NHL markets a certain number of players, right? Because there's only like so many superstars to go around.
Mm-hmm.
But the Blues do their job of marketing, their best players because that's what ticket sales come down to.
For sure.
So the business brain in me understands why that question would be asked because of the financial, but I think on the other side of it, I think it would cost the owners way more money not to market their players.
That's a great point.
Who the hell's showing up to the ball field to watch player X, Y, and Z? No, you're showing up to watch Victor Scott II because he's the fastest guy in Major League Baseball, Gold Glove potential, the best center fielder since Jim Edmonds.
Whoa.
Defensively.
Yeah, he's not wrong.
I'm not wrong.
But the Cardinals haven't done that though.
No.
I haven't seen any promotional material with him in it. Like, he's not like he's he's not wearing the baby blue jersey and.
But I was just using it as an example.
But last time they did that, they ruined Harrison Bader's career.
Oh, that's true.
Wow.
That was just a loose example. I apologize for using a player that we don't. let's try something new.
No, but
Jesus, Marcy. Jamie played 7 games.
Just sitting in a car with a Cubs fan.
Listen, that's your fault, not mine.
Absolutely.
Yeah, we have some questions. I don't know why you sat in there.
No,
I mean, if you'd have known you were going
to get to the
if
game.
you knew that you were going to be late anyways, would you have gotten out now?
No. It wasn't walking. It was raining.
What kind of car was it?
I don't remember.
You know.
Yeah, was it an Uber X or whatever it's called?
It was the normal Uber Black. I wish I.
Jamie showed me an app for Uber Triple X.
Yeah.
Oh, whoa.
That was different. It wasn't
Uber. That was like the best of the Ubers, right? You're saying?
It sure was.
I don't know that's what that was.
Yeah.
It's not exactly the same, but however, a great app.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
I thought it was interesting.
But the original biggest question of the day, I think the owners and the teams would lose more money by not getting their players out there, not marketing.
Yeah.
So it basically would be like stepping over dollars to pick up a dime. To where you're worried about one player that you're going to have to pay, but then you got like...
Think about it this way,
Nobody
too.
showing up.
You signed Shohei Ohtani to what you do. Part of that is knowing that you're going to max out on every
the
possibility
Dodgers are already.
to
Have
bring
you seen
in
all the stuff they're doing with Japanese companies? They've got cross promotions going on.
So
the field is getting named as like.
The more I think about it, the more I think that this Uber Cubs driver.
That's not the app either.
Corey Cooper.
Don't mess with Anthony's guy.
Uber Cubs driver. Not bright.
So maybe we're not. I think he was speaking more of Major League Baseball in general and not team specific.
Right.
So in terms of like commercials or
but he said that the teams would have to pay guys more though.
But Kerry, that would fall on the players. That has nothing to do with the league. Well, yeah, because the companies.
Don't you stick up for the Cooper?
I'm sticking up for Marsh.
You know this.
Thank you, Carey. Now don't turn on me like Anthony did yesterday.
Yeah, but Kerry, you know this is the players are approached independently through their agencies and their agents to do commercials.
Yeah.
Like I was never contacted by Nike to do a commercial or anything
MLB,
like that.
NHL, right?
But the NHL never offered. It was the independent companies that did come in. So I don't know how much the NHL and the NFL and MLB, they all have their media days where they have all the stars in one area and they do little clips of things and things like that. Like they can't avoid that.
Right.
But the MLB's not bringing Enterprise to Shohei Ohtani to do a commercial. You know,
No, I'm just talking about MLB specific commercials where they're promoting a big game or promoting a playoff or promoting something where people are going to be tuned in. I don't think they do a good enough job of really getting their stars out there in the manner in which I think they should.
And you could start with being able to actually watch the baseball game. They do a terrible job at that. A lot of their fans can't even watch the damn game.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that's a starting point. And that's kind of what I'm talking about. Not so much the commercials, but like getting your game out there. Social media, like being able to actually watch the players play the game.
Absolutely. Yeah, when things aren't in blackout mode, we'll put them on Apple TV. Or Apple Plus or whatever.
What are you two laughing about over there?
What do you got?
We got children.
You guys want to share with the class?
Yeah, bring it in. Come on, boys.
Nope, can't do
share
that.
that one.
You guys still talking about Uber Triple X?
Let's just say that there's a texter from the 314. They get the show.
Yeah.
Good. They get the show.
Yeah, I did see that.
Yes.
Yeah.
Incredible observations.
All right, good.
Yeah.
All right, we'll come back about the board. Criticisms, compliments. And of course, Marsh's 3 stars of the day. Next on 101 ESPN. Auto Centers Nissan Herculaneum, they got the best vehicles for the best prices, and they've got the best customer service. How do I know? Well, because we purchased our pre-owned vehicle from Auto Centers Nissan. That's right. They've got over 700 vehicles on the lot, and they have new Nissans. But, yeah, they got pre-owned vehicles. It's not just Nissans as well. They got different makes and different models. So whether you're looking for a car, a truck, a van, an SUV, you're going to find it at Auto Centers Nissan Herculaneum. You're going to find it online at autocentersnissan.com. You can go there. You can peruse. There's 700-plus vehicles. Then you can go down to Herculaneum, and you know that when you test drive a vehicle, it's going to be the same one that you saw online. They've got 0% APR, no payments for and payments, I should say, payment terms all the way up to 84 months. They've got up to $5,000 off MSRP, no down payment needed, 3 months of no payments. You can give your wallet and a break and save your tax money as well. Take advantage of the available incentives that Auto Centers Nissan have on new Nissans, plus free complimentary lifetime warranty, the 30-day return promise. They're so confident that you're going to love the experience and love your vehicle from Auto Centers Nissan that they'll give you 30 days to bring the vehicle back, and they'll refund your money if you're not completely satisfied. That's one of the many ways that they give you peace of mind when you drive off their lot. So check them out online at autocentersnissan.com, but head out to Herculaneum and get the best vehicles at the best price from the best dealership that you're going to see. It's Auto Centers Nissan Herculaneum. If you missed anything from today's show, you can always download the podcast, available at 101ESPN.com or on your 101 ESPN mobile app. It's all brought to you by Dobbs Tire and Auto Centers. Tomorrow, we're going to be unveiling some of your mic drops that you left us today. Jamie had posed a question after getting some texters texting in about the Blues, and they're saying, like, you guys are way too light on the Blues sometimes, hard on the Cardinals. And Jamie posed the question, well, what were your expectations for the Blues, comparatively speaking, at the start of the season to the Cardinals? So we asked for your mic drops on that. We'll be doing some of those tomorrow. So if you want to continue to leave us mic drops, you can do so via the 101 ESPN app. All right, boys. Let's bet that board.
Yeah.
Jamie was the only one that was a winner last night.
Yeah, I mean, I just had a hunch.
Yeah.
You did. You did well.
I had a hunch.
It just faded Anthony.
Maybe.
All right.
Maybe.
I had won 3 in a row, so it was a good hunch.
Was.
You knew I was due.
You're still up, aren't you? You're leading?
No, Marsh is.
Marshy is.
I'm leading, yes.
Update those standings for us, kid.
All right, so I am 5-3. All of you are 4-4.
Wow.
So it's close.
All right, well, we'll just go around the horn here. Marsh, Carey, Jamie, me. Go ahead, Marsh.
All right, I'm looking at the Pittsburgh-Detroit Red Wings game, and I think the Penguins are going to win tonight. I have them -1.5.
I got -162 on mine.
You're taking the puck line, though.
Yeah.
Yeah.
-1.5.
Yeah, so they got to win by 2 now.
Yeah, okay, gotcha.
For Marsh to win.
Gotcha.
Good eye.
Yeah, good
Good
call,
eye.
though, Jamie. You're holding them accountable.
Well, I was wondering why he's going Penguins.
What the heck? Yeah, -1.5
So
on
they
the
got to win by
puck
2,
line.
Marshy.
Yeah.
Woof.
2 or more.
Woof. That's a big bet.
I'm going with it.
Okay.
I have the Boston Celtics at -146 versus the New York Knicks.
What do you
Take
got?
the Boston Celtics. Boston Celtics.
On the money line?
Money line.
Jason
-146.
Jason Tatum. All right, Jamie.
Yeah, Capitals Sabres, big game tonight. Capitals are +114. I say they take the Sabres to Pound Town tonight.
Oh.
Capitals. Flat out victory.
Okay. All right.
Expected that.
Yeah.
Wow.
You just watch.
All right.
The OV train is heating up.
Uh-oh. Grayson Rodriguez has been outstanding for the Baltimore Orioles thus far. He's 2-0. He's been Jordan Hicks-esque, guys, some would say. And he's in Boston tonight.
Oh, he's playing Tyler O'Neill.
He's as long as he can keep Tyler O'Neill in the park, I think he'll be all right. Give me the Orioles -130 on the money line.
Nice.
The O's. They had a nice comeback last night. Jackson Holiday had an RBI ground out to kind of fuel the comeback.
Turned to double play, too, his first play.
That he did.
Just wish he would have recorded 2+ bases.
He was 0 for go for otherwise, but you know what? Still making an impact. Mm-hmm. We're rooting for Jackson Holiday, no doubt about that.
Always.
All right, what do we got for criticisms and compliments, Marsh?
Yeah, we got just a GIF or a GIF, however you want to call it, from Thanks Dad, and it's actually the penguin from Billy Madison.
Oh, boy.
The Nudie Magazine penguin.
Oh, okay, yeah. It's Nudie Magazine Day.
It is Nudie Magazine Day. Maybe this is because of the Uber or the...
Yeah, probably.
Triple, I don't know.
Triple.
Something like that, I don't know.
Uber. Triple what?
Yeah,
Triple X?
it's Uber. They got Uber and Uber X, and Jamie showed me the app for Uber Triple X.
I don't think that's what that was.
It's the best, according to Jamie, it's the best.
It's
Uber
like the
app.
stretch limo type stuff.
Yeah.
The really big ones, Carey.
All right.
There's a bus or something on there, too.
Yeah, there you get a bus. You can order the bus or the extended version of the limo.
Cool.
Yeah. You get a Hummer, too.
No.
Yeah, they make the Hummer limo. Yeah, I'm talking about. Yeah, those are really cool. They're big.
This one's from Billy. Billy said that was one of the best interviews ever, caw, in reference to our interview with Travis Feeney of your St. Louis Battlehawks.
He was awesome.
He was awesome. I'd be
He was
cheering the
great.
hell out of that guy right now, man.
He was energetic. He was great. Yeah, thank you to the Battlehawks. Our guy Brian Stull, hooking up the Battlehawks interview. We're going to do that each and every Thursday here on 101 ESPN.
We got an extra question. Anthony, I know you like to rattle off stats when some of the listeners think we need more of them.
Yeah.
But can you give an explanation of what FIP is, please? That is from the 646.
So fielding independent percentage, that is it is a metric that is just for the pitcher. Okay, so it adjusts for ballparks and all that. ERA does not. ERA is just standard right across. If the defense could have made a play, ERA don't care. FIP does. So FIP will take into account how well that pitcher did. It's less of a team stat because ERA can kind of, you give up a run, not always your fault. And
FIP, you shouldn't have threw the ball there.
You still got to throw the ball. I mean, Carey, it's the game. You got to the pitcher throws the ball.
I'm saying the ball got hit. Shouldn't get it hit.
Anyways, so fielding independent percentage.
Yeah, exactly.
It's a better metric. It's a better metric for how that pitcher has performed than ERA. But you read it just like ERA. So if the guy's ERA is 1.38 and his FIP is 5 something, that his ERA is likely to come up. He's been a little lucky. A little advanced metrics.
Nice.
Thank you.
There's more to it, but I'm not smart enough to get all of it. I just get the Cliff Note version. It's how I got through high school.
It worked.
I didn't have Karen like Jamie.
None of us had Karen.
Yeah.
Everybody needs a Karen.
Everybody needs a Karen.
Yep.
From the 314, great show, gents.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Appreciate that.
The 618 says, love a good Hummer.
Yes.
Absolutely.
Right.
The fine.
It costs a lot of money in
They
gas.
ride a lot better than you'd think,
Really?
too.
It's costly, though.
A little smoother than you'd think.
But it costs.
Well, they're not cheap, and
No,
the
they're
gas
expensive.
isn't being given away either.
No.
But, but they're a lot of fun.
From the 636, great interview with the Battlehawk. You guys are the best at having fun.
Oh, thank you.
Appreciate
Yeah.
that.
Boy, that is a great compliment. We do
try
like to have fun.
We do.
No doubt about it.
We have a great time. What I find funny about this texter, though, is that it says subject, so it looks like it could be an email.
Did they email us?
I don't know. Or maybe they just like putting subject.
Do we have
Subject.
Do we have
Compliment.
email?
You go back. I think it's just that because I'm going back through all of the texts from this individual, and only every so often does it say subject. I don't know.
Interesting. It's a different way to send it.
This one's from the 636. GIF has a hard G. When in doubt, lean on the word that represents the acronym. Graphic has a hard G.
So
I said GIF or GIF.
So it would be GIF. What they're saying is GIF or GIF. Like
GIF.
graphic.
Yeah.
It's not
GIF.
The great.
They're great GIFs. I don't know what they're saying. Is it GIF or GIF?
I think it's
or GIF.
GIF.
I think it's GIF.
Like GIF.
I think it's
like
GIF.
graphic GIF.
GIF.
Although
All right.
I think the guy that made it up
Said it's GIF.
said it's GIF. So
Yeah, but what would he know?
I mean,
probably nothing.
He made it. So.
It's kind of like the whole Jeff thing, you know?
What's
Jeff
that?
or G-off.
How about being that guy? What's your name, Jeff? How do you spell it?
J. What? Like, okay, so
People,
J.
you know, they always like, oh, you're one of those.
Right.
Oh, you're Jeff with a G.
Yeah, like you picked a name out.
Like I
you know?
picked the spelling of
Yeah.
it.
Okay, talk to my parents. Okay?
Seriously.
They
thought
ruined
about
my
that.
childhood and my name. Go talk to them.
We're going to text from 314. Shout out to Carey's vocal cords. We are back.
Yes.
baby.
Long
Yeah.
enough.
Finally.
Drinking so much tea, I don't even
I
know.
didn't completely. I didn't really like you affecting my vocal cords too after that.
It was bad,
That's
man.
tough.
It was bad.
It was bad.
You had it way worse than me.
I did, but you came in to try to. Neither of us could talk. You were out of town enjoying Florida, so you wouldn't know anything about it.
Yeah, you
I'm
were
sorry.
fine.
I'm sorry I'm days off, guys. I apologize.
Don't take any more.
I'm
be
sorry.
committed,
Got a
Anthony.
hockey game tomorrow, Jamie, into my 4.
I'll be here.
Jeez.
Will I be here or not?
You'll be here.
He'll be here.
That's all that matters.
He's here. He's present.
Yes, he is.
Ish.
All right, guys, let's get to our 3 stars of the day. Our 3rd star of the day goes to Scott Schumacher.
Scotty. Made an appearance.
Skip's brother. We don't know.
No idea.
Sorry about that.
Our 2nd star of the day goes out to a city in a state, Cincinnati,
Indiana.
That's
right. Yeah.
From Cincinnati,
Yeah.
Indiana.
No.
That's it.
Indiana.
He's from Cincinnati, isn't it? Yeah. No, that's not in Indiana. It's in Ohio.
And our first star of the day goes to Day Drinking Brian. Everybody texted in.
Absolutely.
DDB #1 star.
Yeah. So,
condolences.
Our condolences. If the Snake Pit made reference to that, and they let us know that Day Drinking Brian has passed away. He passed away recently, and our thoughts certainly go out to his family members. So sad note here today. We're a family here in the fast lane, so our thoughts go out to his family. All right, everybody, have a great rest of your night. We'll be back at 2. See you.